Original home of the no-cost mortgage. If you've been in the market for a new home or just wanted to take advantage of lower rates, recent events have shown exactly why Miller Lending chose to offer a way around bad timing with our no closing cost program. With no fees rolled in or charged, including the cost of title insurance, you can simply close on today's rates and refinance free of charge as rates improve. Over the past several months, we spoke to numerous borrowers who had heard rates were coming down and chose to wait. We explained that if rates did fall, you could simply update a few documents and refinance again, but why take the chance? So when rates spiked 0.5% recently, not only was I disappointed that we couldn't help those who waited, but also for those buying a home who just saw a sharp increase to their monthly payment. So while we can't control the market, we can offer an alternative. Eliminate timing and say goodbye to closing costs forever. 919-447-3377 or simply apply online at millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender and MLS number 250-2146.
It's bow time. Ordering Bojangles Bow Bites is the easiest choice you'll make today. The bite-sized hand-breaded chicken is fried to crispy perfection, making it perfect for sharing, snacking, or when you're on the go. Just don't call it a nugget. The only hard part is choosing from our 6 dipping sauces. We've got a sauce for every kind of craving, from our creamy house-made ranch to our sweet and spicy peach honey pepper sauce. It all depends on what kind of mood you're in. Head to your nearest Bojangles today and discover the dippable, shareable, and craveable Bow Bites. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to head on over to Bojangles to try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. Bite-sized, hand-breaded chicken fried to crispy perfection. On the go, they're perfect for snacking or sharing. Dipped in your favorite sauce like creamy house-made ranch or peach honey pepper, they're the perfect way to satisfy your craving for flavor and value. Try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. It's an easy choice to make when it's bow time.
Every year across America, a staggering 4.2 million youth are homeless or trafficked. Covenant House is the national leader providing safe housing for youth, 50 years strong. Help us fight youth homelessness. Go to covenanthouse.org.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Hey, it's the weather.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. The heat and humidity and afternoon storms will be a big story all week long. It'll feel like triple digits this afternoon with a small chance for thunderstorms. 75 tonight. Tomorrow, a better chance. As a matter of fact, it's a level 1 risk, so we could end up with a few isolated reports of wind damage. Highs in the mid-90s with a triple-digit heat index and a possible heat advisory.
3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 145 points today to 53,891.
Deep left corner of the end zone! Jalen Coker hauls it in for a touchdown!
Off the back iron, Wilson comes soaring in to dunk it home.
Copeland jabs on him a couple of times. Step back three-pointer, left corner, swish.
One dribble out for Boozer for 3. Big time!
And the Carolina Hurricanes are the best team in the NHL. They won the 2026 Stanley Cup.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Happy Monday, everybody. It's a new week. Make it work for you. I'm Tim Donnelly producing the show. We have Max Gorin today. And Haynes King era was fun while it lasted. Now, maybe he'll stick around. We actually have some updates on that. It was a busy weekend and the last weekend without NFL football for quite some time. I know we had it on Thursday, Hall of Fame game, but kicks off in earnest this weekend. So I'm looking forward to that as well. And I'm looking forward to starting the show. So without further ado, it's the Big 3 at 3.
Number 1.
Haynes King. Last time we talked, he was the story. Now, different kind of story. By the way, the Big 3 at 3 is presented by Maynard Service Company, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric. Check them out online at MaynorServices.com. That's MAYNOR Services.com. So last time we talked on Friday, we were coming off the dramatic victory in the Hall of Fame game Thursday night. Haynes King showed up, changed the game, won the game. Over the weekend, we learned that in the process, on that game-winning touchdown run, there's a hamstring injury that took place. He's expected to miss some time. They've already signed a replacement to be the third-string quarterback, Kyle Trask, a guy that has some history with Dave Canales from their time in Tampa. So it'll go Bryce Young, backup Kenny Pickett, Kyle Trask, dealing with an injury, Haynes King. Now, the reason why I say that there's some updates here, just moments ago, right, this afternoon, Adam Schefter was on with Pat McAfee, and he floated the Taysom Hill role, right? The direct quote is, I think Haynes King is going to have a role with the Carolina Panthers. It wouldn't shock me if they used him in a Taysom Hill role. That comes from Adam Schefter. First of all, we need to start a Hall of Fame for players that get comped to a certain subset of player. If you are a quarterback and you're under 6 feet, guess what? You're Drew Brees. Right? Are you a quarterback and you have a baseball background? Guess what? You throw off platform like Patrick Mahomes. There are certain things. Are you a wide receiver and you are above 6'4"? Guess what? You're Mike Evans. If you are a quarterback who people question if you can throw the ball at a high enough level, but you ran a lot in college, you can be Taysom Hill. Can you be a Taysom Hill? Now the irony is, after saying all of that, I made it just sound like it's a lazy comp. That might be Haynes King. And especially after the Hall of Fame game. I said this on Friday, I'll say it again, even with the injury. There was almost nothing he could have done. Actually, I'll say it. There was nothing he could have done in the Hall of Fame game that would have made me go, oh, he's your QB2. He's jumping over Kenny Pickett. Because of the atmosphere, the context, right? No matter what he did, he was doing it against third stringers, so it couldn't vault him. But what it could do is let the special teams coordinator know, or let the tight ends coach know, maybe it's worth experimenting a little bit with this guy because he might make the 53-man roster. Because no special teams coach wants to go draw up a really cool trick play for Haynes King to only learn that Haynes King can't help the team enough and he's not going to be on the 53-man roster, so you have really, really cool trick plays that you can never use on game day. Tight ends coach doesn't want to know that you have this jack of all trades if he's not going to make the roster. So when he played well enough at quarterback, I think Dave Canales can look to everybody else and go, let's see. Right? You go draw up how you would use Haynes King in a Taysom Hill role if he were available, and we'll add all of that up along with the fact that he looks like a valuable third-string quarterback now, and we'll see if there's enough value there to keep him on the roster. And I don't think a hamstring injury changes much of that, because hamstring injuries usually 3 weeks, 4 weeks, depending on the severity, they can be gone, and as long as you actively take care of them, they can be put in the rearview mirror. So the Haynes King injury, the Kyle Trask signing, I'm not sure it changes anything. Thank goodness the Panthers played in the Hall of Fame game. Although the injury took place in the Hall of Fame game. So I was going to say thank goodness because now we at least have seen him in a game situation before he got hurt. But, sliding doors, maybe he doesn't get hurt if he's not in that game. So, can't go back and change the past. That is number one. Let's get to number two.
Number 2.
Luke Kuechly, officially a Hall of Famer. We knew it was coming, but they had to reveal the bust. They had to take care of the speeches. They had to do all of the pomp and circumstance that comes with it, and he is a Hall of Famer. Here is my reaction to Luke Kuechly's Hall of Fame weekend, right? Because it is a weekend that celebrates the induction class. So he had to share it with the Vinatieri's and the Larry Fitzes and everybody else. Luke Kuechly, and I'll explain what I mean by this. He is Luke Kuechly. And I think that's what I loved about him most when he was with the Panthers. He was predictable. Right? Of everything that took place this weekend, I knew what Luke Kuechly was going to do, and he delivered the best version of it. Vinatieri surprised me. Right? Vinatieri cracked some jokes at the expense of a guy that we cover around here, Bill Belichick. Matter of fact, let's let everybody hear that. Here's Adam Vinatieri roasting Bill Belichick and Carolina a bit at the Hall of Fame inductions.
I would repeat those last few statements about Coach Bill Belichick as well. Thank you for demanding excellence every single day. Your preparation, discipline, and attention to detail shaped far more than my football career. Unfortunately, Bill couldn't make it here today. There's a lot going on at UNC right now. He may be on a recruiting trip right now looking for the next Lawrence Taylor. I thought it was because training camp had already started, but in truth, it's because he's judging his girlfriend's cheerleading competition.
How about it? When he said, there's a lot going on at UNC and got chuckles, I thought, okay, he's acknowledging it. And then he just kept going. For the Carolina fans out there, I don't think this is as big a deal as a lot are making it out to be, like he was throwing some real jab at Belichick. Unanimously, players of Bill Belichick have said behind closed doors, what we don't get to see is he's a much funnier dude. I imagine that's, for lack of a better term, and I know this is overused, it's kind of like just locker room talk. But the reason why I say that is I wasn't expecting that from Vinatieri. Vinatieri was like steady Eddie, Mr. Consistency, kind of boring kicker guy, and then he's out there and he's doing it like a roast, like he's Don Rickles.
If you're the all-time leading scorer in NFL history, you can crack some jokes. But you've earned the right.
But the thing that I love about Kuechly is he also earned the right to go up there and be different and upend all of our expectations, but he went up there and did exactly what I think Luke Kuechly would do. The whole weekend, there was a great interview with Rich Eisen. He was trying to pick Drew Brees' brain to get answers to how I never figured out this play, or I never figured out why they used to do this check against us, and Rich Eisen was like, why do you're going in the Hall of Fame. Why do you care? And he's like, because I need the answers. What do you mean? I've Drew Brees here, and I need to put it in my notebook. And it's just that's Luke Kuechly. That's why I believe, despite the fact that his career wasn't super long, right, it ended prematurely, that he got in on the second ballot. Because there was never a moment where he wasn't one of the best linebackers in the NFL. There's never a moment where that guy isn't dependable, predictable, about his business and just football guy through and through. Or even Larry Fitzgerald, I saw since he's retired, Larry Fitzgerald belongs to 7 of the best country clubs in the country. It's Whispering Rock, it's Seminole, we Interlock, and we go on and on. He belongs to the best. Luke Kuechly's coaching middle school football. The guy is predictable. It's why, the mundane became what made him a superstar. He'd get so excited when he recognized something on film. That's what Luke Kuechly's weekend was about. He is right where you need him to be every single time. That's number 2. Let's get to number 3.
Number 3.
We have a championship coming back to the state of North Carolina, everybody. Clayton, North Carolina wins the Little League Softball World Series championship over the weekend. 2-0 in the final over Owensboro, Kentucky, to punch the ticket, take the trophy, bring it on back to an area that has become pretty darn good at youth softball. And it's not that far where the tournament is played. But I thought this was interesting. Our high school OT guys, and by the way, they do have the Jamboree makeup going on today. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I saw the high school OT guys were talking about it with this Clayton team that won the Little League Softball World Series, they're already excited about what that could do for JoCo, right, that high school, and what their softball teams can do in years future. Whether it's this team as this Little League World Series championship team gets boosted up to high school, or also the young people that look up to this and think it's cool and want to go chase it and want to go be the next. It could start a little dynasty perhaps in that area.
North Carolina teams in general too. It's the 4th title since 2015. There was like a mini dynasty with Rowan County Little League from that first bit 2015 through 2019. They were in the title game or title series 4 out of 5 years, won it twice. 2 years ago, Winterville, Pitt County Softball Little League won the title, and now Johnston County wins it this year. So North Carolina, kind of a dynastic region perhaps for Little League softball.
So I look at it like this. If you are like winning a Little League Softball World Series is a big enough reason to get a hero's welcome, right? You're going to have the parade down Main Street. You're going to have, hey, today in Johnston County is Clayton Softball Day. Like, you're going to have all of that. And if you're 7 years old, you're 8 years old, you're a little girl in that area, this is going to be really, really cool, and you're going to want to play. And that's when it's going to keep rolling and rolling until eventually you're a high school, hopefully, that's won 7 of the last 14 state championships or something like that, and it just keeps growing. I don't know if there's anything cooler you can do as like an 11 or 12-year-old than go win a Little League World Series, but they've done it, and they should enjoy it. Game is pure at that age. You know what I'm talking about? The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is the Big Three at 3, presented by Maynard Service Company, heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. We have a busy hour. We're going to be talking with Blake Harrell, the head coach of ECU football. We'll be talking with Anish Shroff, the voice of the Carolina Panthers, as they get ready for their preseason game number 2 on preseason week number 1. So a lot to get to all in this 3 o'clock hour. And the Panthers are going to be playing their starters in that preseason week 1, game 2. Action, a true bit of learning for Dave Canales. Stick around.
Is your heating and air system ready for the warmer weather? Call Newcomb & Company to ensure your system is running at peak performance. As a Comfort Contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs. Newcomb & Company, your Carrier factory authorized dealer, has proudly served our community for more than 70 years, delivering reliable comfort and peace of mind. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
And Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at LibertyMutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Tomorrow starts tonight. The energy you have, the patience you show your family, the focus you bring to work. It all begins with sleep. I'm Megan Giggling with Parkway Sleep Health Centers. If you've been putting off getting help because you thought it would take months, Parkway is different. Most patients start care within weeks, not months, with convenient virtual visits and home sleep studies. Because life is better when you sleep well.
Parkway Sleep, your fastest path to better sleep. Start today at parkwaysleep.com. Sound sleep, sound health.
You pull up at a McDonald's drive-thru at the crack of dawn to get your $3 crispy chicken biscuit. You've been craving it all night. It was a very long night, but your taste buds pulled through. Those are no ordinary taste buds, and you are no ordinary human. You are a champion, and you deserve a $3 crispy chicken biscuit. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. All right, I need to follow up on a few of the things that I mentioned before break. 3:30, we'll be talking with the head coach of ECU football, Blake Harrell. Second year as the full-time head coach of ECU. He took over midway the previous season. At 3:45-ish, right, give or take a minute or two, we'll be talking with Anish Shroff, the voice of the Carolina Panthers. And I mentioned I would give you some more details specifically on, let me see what we got going on here, on the goodness gracious, Jamboree. I don't know why I was having such a hard time with that. So the Jamboree, the high school football Jamboree that we discussed quite a bit last week, featuring all of those 4 and 5 and 3-star recruits and all of those teams that were in the state championship or even, competing for one this year. They did not get to play many of those games due to storms that came through the area on Saturday. So there's a bunch of makeups happening today. It will all be out there at Wake Med Soccer Park in Cary. Same deal. Today, starting at 6 p.m., Southern Durham versus Middle Creek at 6, Cardinal Gibbons versus Millbrook. That's one of the highlights, 7 p.m. And then there's kind of a triangular. They're going to have 3 teams all playing against each other just due to the rescheduling and the travel, how many teams can make it back. At 8 p.m., it'll be Southeast Raleigh, Rollsville, and Wake Forest all getting a piece of each other. That's today. A makeup from Saturday out at Wake Med Soccer Park in Cary. So if you can make it out there, if you had tickets on Saturday, they will be honored today. If you didn't have tickets on Saturday, you're going to have to buy tickets today. And this does not impact the one on Friday. There's another Jamboree coming up on Friday. We'll talk to you about that later, but that's just an update of what's going on around here. Was that super confusing? Did that make any sense to everybody? I hope it did. Max, were you able to keep along or follow along? All right,
cool. It happened Friday, but it was weather, so they're making it up today, and then there's a separate one on Friday.
Beautiful. Let's talk Carolina Panthers. This upcoming week for the Panthers, I'm going to be so frustrated with myself because I'm going to have to say preseason game 2, even though it's really preseason game 1, 1,000 times this week.
I think we should have a dichotomy between Hall of Fame game and preseason game, even though it is a preseason game, but it's not a preseason game. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Preseason, if you will.
I'm calling this week where they are playing Buffalo the first preseason game, because when you compare it to previous years, this is the first preseason game. So when I say something like Bryce Young hasn't played in the first the first preseason game in each of the last 2 years, don't go, well, he didn't play in this one either because he didn't play in the Hall of Fame game. He is going to play in what I consider the first preseason game this year. That's what Dave Canales told us earlier today. He is going to play. The starters are going to play 10 to 20 snaps, basically what Kenny Pickett played in the Hall of Fame game. That's different from years past. That is different from years past. I have them right here. Last year, in game 2 of the preseason, Bryce Young played 2 series. How about that? He played 2 games. Preseason game 2, 2 series versus Houston, a pretty horrendous day. He went 0 for 2 with an interception that was overturned on a penalty away from the play, a scramble for 2 yards, and an 8-yard sack. That's not great. Then he played 2 series in preseason game 3 versus Cleveland, which was better. 4 of 6, 58 yards, 1 touchdown, no interception, although his first drive was pretty rough. Incomplete sack, 3 and out. 2 years ago, he played just 1 series the whole preseason, and it came in the 3rd preseason game against Buffalo. Looked good, but it was 1 series. This year, preseason game 1, he's going to get 10 to 20 snaps. I've said this about Dave Canales a lot. I don't always agree with what he does. Matter of fact, I've found myself disagreeing with a lot of his decisions over the years, but I respect the heck out of his ability to, at least it's very obvious he's trying to fix the mistakes. Each of the last couple years that he's been the head coach, they've started very slow at the beginning of the year. At times, historically slow, right? Like at times, very, very bad. And because of that, he went from 2 years ago, he played his starters in 1 game, and it was the 3rd game. Last year, he played it in 2 games. This year, he's starting with 3 games to go. And the reason why I'm praising that is because coaches get stubborn about that kind of stuff. Regardless of the results, coaches, a little power trippy. I know what's best. I know how to keep my guys healthy. I know. This is what I've decided. This is what my studies have shown. I know. And in this case, he's going like, listen, we didn't start great. And this is me kind of translating or interpreting what his actions are saying. Listen, we didn't start great each of the last 2 years. I'd be dumb to prepare my team the same way I did in years past if I didn't like the results of how I prepared them. Right? If you are finishing the season significantly stronger than you start the season every single season, then you do kind of have to rev the engines earlier. And I think it's worth, and this is, famous last words, and I'm sure somebody's going to bookmark it, and if the terrible happens, it'll go viral, playing and everything. I think it's worth the injury risk to make sure your players are in a rhythm, to make sure you have them as prepared as possible, especially having looked at what's gone on the last few years. Now, and you know what's the crazy part? I think playing in preseason is important, but I wouldn't hate it if they played in like the first preseason game, the second preseason game, and not the third, which would mean they're playing in the same amount of games as they played last year, just different scheduled games, because then you're doing something different. You're not exposing yourself to more injury. There's more time to recover if there is a boo-boo or an owie in one of those games before the regular season hits. Like, I like that Dave Canales is willing to change. Now, I do think you have to, believe in your core principles, and there have to be certain non-negotiables in your program. But look at what he's done this offseason. He gave up play calling to Brad Idzik. You're an offensive-minded head coach. You were hired, at least in part, for your offensive mind, and he was humble enough, I guess might be the term, to say, it's not going the way we wanted it to go. Let's let someone else have a try, and I will live and die with the results of someone else's decisions. Because I'm the head coach, everything falls on my front door anyway. Now he's saying, yeah, I thought it was better to give our guys no game reps for the first bunch of preseason games, but each year that's proven not to be effective, so I'm going to try something else. It's very this way. Usually coaches are do as I say, not as I do. High school coaches are probably worse at it than pro coaches, right? Do as I say, not as I do. This is a coach doing what he says, right? You can make a mistake. You better not make it twice, right? That's what coaches say. Then they make the same mistake 100 times. It's like, wait a second. Dave Canales may have made some mistakes. I think he's going to change, and I really, really respect that about him. And he's going to do so with a wildly upbeat, optimistic attitude, which, that's just the way he is. Be authentic. But I respect that he really does watch the film. Not just of like the actual film, but also the metaphorical film, the big picture film. When a season is over, he looks at everything and tries to figure out what they can do better. So even if I disagree with the decisions, at least he's doing his best to uncover every single little advantage you can have. Speaking of football coaches, we have Blake Harrell, ECU head coach, joining us in just a couple minutes. But first, Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending. If you are a coach and you don't continue to watch the film and try to get better, you're going to be looking for a mortgage soon in some other city. It's just the nature of the business. Miller Lending. And if you do it really well, you might be looking for a new, bigger house pretty soon, because that money can get aggressive as well. Miller Lending, no matter what your situation is, understands the timing isn't always your choice. You might be looking for a new house because you got a new job, because you need to upgrade, meaning more size, family's growing, or downsize, right? Empty nesters, whatever it is. Want to be closer to family, further from family. If the timing isn't perfect and that rate's a little higher than you were hoping for, Miller Lending can take at least a little bit of the financial burden off your plate with a no-cost loan. No closing costs, no hidden fees, no hidden surcharges. Give them a call. Ask more. 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377. or visit them online at millerlending.com. Once again, that's millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 250-2146. When we come back, the head coach of the ECU Pirates football team, Blake Harrell, joins us on the Heaster Automotive Group hotline. Don't go anywhere.
With over $110 million in total prizes, new scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery are dazzling the crowd. Get quick wins from Hit 50, Cash, Loteria Grande, and The Star. Massive cash blowout, bursting with $150, $300, and $3,000 prizes. Play and watch your luck shine. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds to win range from 1 in 3.86 to 9.37. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
A torn ACL, stress fracture, aching back, a hip that's had it, life on hold, and all you want is to get it back. Enter Wake Orthopedics. We do it all. In fact, we see patients within 48 hours for everything from sports injuries, spine care, and joint replacement to minimally invasive procedures, surgeries, pediatrics, and more. Visit us today at wakemed.org and get back your life.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here for my friends at Buffalo Brothers. My favorite place to go in the Triangle for the best wings on the planet. How about this special? Every Monday, half-priced wings all day. Dine-in only. Now that's a deal, baby. Everything on the menu is amazing. Pizza, apps, and always great drink specials. Visit any of their 5 Triangle locations and their pet-friendly patio, too. Online, buffbrothers.com. Aw, man! Now I want wings!
Yeah, can you pass me a Baja?
A what?
Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Try it. It's tropical at first, then the lime flavor hits.
Oh, okay. That's crisp. Tastes like vacation.
Right?
Mm-hmm. And it's mine now.
Have a Baja Blast.
Right now at Circle K, buy a 20-ounce Mountain Dew and get another for just $1. Do the Dew at Circle K today.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It's time to talk some football, everybody, and we have a ball coach on the line. Joining us on the Heastar Automotive Group hotline, Blake Harrell, ECU head football coach, 9-4 a season ago, his first as the non-interim head coach at ECU, finishing with a bowl win over an ACC team. They got the better of Pitt in the bowl game. Their season opened September 5th on the road at Alabama. Coach Harrell, we appreciate you for taking the time and out of your prep, out of your preseason to come talk with us. Let's start with that opener. You are less than a month to going to Tuscaloosa and trying to shock the world in Alabama. How does that opener maybe change your training camp from a normal camp that you're used to?
Yeah, first of all, appreciate you having me on. And, I'm fired up about football season. It's my favorite time of the year as far as training camp and just going to work and watching your team try to make a move every day to get better. And it's always good to have an opener that your guys kind of catches their attention, like Alabama. They've obviously a historic program and have done some really amazing things over the past several years and decade or so. But can't be our focus. That can't be where we turn our attention to. It's obviously got to be about our improvement and our process and our preparations and those things. But at the same time, you always throw it out there, hey, 26 days to Alabama, 26 days to Tuscaloosa. We got to execute at a higher level. We got to be more disciplined or whatever it may be. So it does help catch their attention when you have an opponent like that to open with.
What does, right, you're going from Power 5 game in the bowl game, the win over Pitt, to Power 5, or Power 4, I should say, against Bama. What does the win to end the season last year against Pitt, what did that do for your program?
Yeah, I think those things are things you can build off of. It gives you confidence and to grow from and move forward. But also at the same time, it's a new football team each and every year, and a new players in and out, and some new coaches in and out. So you kind of really got to focus on your current situation and current role. But just knowing that, hey, you got a big win in the bowl game. You played with some P4 teams close last year. And then also kind of how their opener was last year as well. So you kind of bring those things up, point those things out to your players, and try to build some confidence, because I do think early in the season the teams that have confidence and really feel good about themselves and play their game the right way have a good chance to win a game.
We're talking with Blake Harrell, ECU head football coach, here on The Drive on 99.9 The Fan. Coach, I have to say I'm a little jealous of your team because I played quarterback in college. And I watched that North Texas offense last year and went, that's got to be so fun to play in. And then you went and got their offensive coordinator. Jordan Davis comes from North Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, what stat did they not lead the country in, right? Yards,
no doubt,
scoring, the whole, like all the important ones at least. Has the scheme lived up to it in practice? Have you tried to get it in scrimmages and in the 11-on-11 periods?
Yeah, it's been exciting and fun to watch and watch Coach Davis install. It was very similar to what we were doing previously with John David Baker. A little bit of variations. A lot of the terminology is still the same. So excited about it, and just how their approach is slightly different, but similar to what we were doing. So there's some familiarity with our players, and our personnel kind of fits that. But at the same time, it is neat to kind of see that version of the offense go to work, and seeing those guys in practice and really attack the slot with Brock Spalding, I think has been an eye-opener and been a good thing for our offense. So still a long ways to go, still a lot to push through, but excited about where that group is heading.
So looking at last year, right, you just brought up, it was similar to what you did a season ago. What did you learn? Was your head spinning? What did you learn as the first year fully confirmed head coach that maybe makes this year a little bit easier for you?
Yeah, I think I've been the head coach 19 games. Obviously, you pointed out the interim season was 5 games there, and then last year was the first full time. So there's some things you're going through it as the head coach for the first time. Training camp, you're actually doing that, but it's actually easier this time of year as opposed to last year, because we fully understand the culture, the expectations, the accountability, how we want to run practice, what we changed from that standpoint. So some of those things are a little smoother now, and just had to get them ironed out. And then also, I think early in the season last year, we didn't do a great job maximizing our personnel, and I thought we did that later in the season. So really the focus in training camp this fall is kind of find out who our guys are, who are the guys that we want to count on to win us games, and making sure we have the right guys out there early in the season that can do that. So that's been a huge focus, and just still enjoying it. I think as the head coach, you can't never, like, one of the reasons I'm sitting behind this desk and in this chair is because I was just being me, and just making sure our team was having a good time and enjoying it and enjoying each other, enjoying the atmosphere, and appreciating what they had, and then going and playing the game the right way. So I don't think you can lose sight of those things. You still got to take a hold of that. But there is certain things as a head coach, like once you go through it, you see it through different lenses, and you kind of grow from there.
Blake Harrell, head coach, ECU football, connecting with us here on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. As you get used to it, Coach, I have to be honest, I don't know if I'll ever truly get used to the transfer portal. So few questions here just because it's part of the big narrative. Is it bittersweet, or like what are your feelings when you can watch your guys from last year at Georgia, SMU, South Carolina, Illinois, Vanderbilt, Florida, NC State, and I could go on and on for a bunch more schools.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you got to learn to embrace it. You can fight change, or you can embrace it, and we choose to embrace it. And I'm happy for those young men that choose to further their career at other places and do for different reasons, as well as our coaches. I mean, they've had opportunities to move on. I think when you have success, those things are going to happen. So you got to embrace it and kind of go from there. And each year you're building a roster and a team that could be totally new, and I think that's part of the challenge and fun of it too. So I'm excited for those young men that have other opportunities if they choose to explore that, but also excited to keep guys here in Pirate Nation. This is a special place, as you know, and a great fan base and a special stadium that we have a lot of good things to be excited about. So I don't think we can be worried about what we lose, but what we have.
And then, right, the other side of the transfer portal, it giveth and it taketh away, so it does both. Just a quick smattering, right? I'm just reading the recruiting rankings highest, but you can put whatever name you want here. Ashton Gray, running back from North Texas. Ray Joseph, wide receiver from Miami. Jeremiah Melvin, wide receiver from Wake Forest. Yeah. Emory Williams, quarterback from Miami. Them or again, there's more names to mention. You mentioned finding out which one are your guys. Like, have the any of the new guys worked their way into that conversation already? And if so, who should we be looking for?
Yeah, and we brought in 22 transfers, 2 JUCOs, and about 17 high school kids. So a bunch of new faces. And I think one of the things for us is we already had some familiarity with some of those guys. 2 of those guys were at North Texas. 3 of those guys were at Memphis. So there was some faces there that we already knew that how they ticked, their personalities, and how they could play the game as well. And I think our current players, our returning players, along with our guys coming in, have done a great job of just understanding our accountability and growing as a team and understanding the standards and seeing them kind of really put this thing together has been pretty cool. And those guys flash. I mean, Ashton Gray, you mentioned, he was with Coach Davis at North Texas, so he certainly understands the offense. Him and Landon Sides are 2 guys that you can see helping us immediately because they have that familiarity with the offense and with Coach Davis. Same thing defensively. Cruz Law is a linebacker over there, is with Coach Hankins at Memphis, and they have that previous relationship that he understands the expectations, the standards, and how we want to play the game.
And then let's go to the more football guy side of the ball, right? And that's coming from even an offensive player. The Pro Football Network preseason All-American Conference team came out today. The first teamer from your squad, Zaire Gamble on the defensive backfield, and then defensive lineman Josiah Robinson tabbed as a second teamer. What is it about those 2 that's so obvious that they're getting the preseason recognition coming into the year?
Yeah, Zaire got here 7 months ago from App State, played a bunch of football there. Is originally from South Carolina. Just really impressed the way he communicates and runs that back end. Has done a really exceptional job, especially growing since spring. And the spring was kind of getting his feet wet. But this summer and preseason camp so far, he just kind of feels really comfortable, looks comfortable back there, running the show, making the checks. And you need that guy. Obviously, Jamarly was that guy for us last year. So he's at Georgia now. We kind of needed a guy to step up, and he's done that, along with some returners. And then Josiah Robinson. Josiah is one of the unique stories in college football. He's going into his 7th year of football. He'll be 24 this fall. I think we got a couple guys maybe be 25 this fall, so we have some age to us. But with older guys, you get experience. You get guys that understand the game. They're going to work their tails off, are great leaders and mentors for other young guys, and that's exactly what Josiah is. And excited about him for this fall and just one more last run for him.
Last one for you before we let you go and you can get back to prep for Bama and your season. Emory Williams, I mentioned him from Miami. Mitch Griffiths, we remember around here from his time with Wake Forest. Is there a quarterback battle? Where does that stand?
Well, I was waiting for either that question first or the 5 for 5 or the class of 22 question. But the quarterback battle has been a really good one. Both those guys are playing at a high level and doing a really good job. Here's the thing: I think we can win games with both of them. They could go lead us down the field, set up scores. They do that in practice, and just the way they carry themselves, the leadership, and just commanding the huddle is on point. And I also said this the other day: at every other position on your team, you can pretty much simulate game day. At quarterback, that is hard to do because nobody's touching the quarterback in practice. Nobody's hitting them. How's he going to react when he gets knocked down? How's he going to react when somebody's in his face and he has to scramble? You get some simulation of that in practice, but not fully. So I could see a scenario early in the season where both may play. Maybe that one guy is playing 90% of the time, the other guy's playing 10% of the time. But I feel really good about both of them. Being a guy that we can count on to help us win games.
Coach, we appreciate your time. We'll do all the eligibility and 5 for 5 conversations when there's not football to talk about. That's middle of the summer stuff. If we can talk football, we're going to talk football on this show.
Well, we're kind of waiting to sit and seeing on this class of 22, just kind of where it goes. We got 3 guys who would be eligible to return if it kind of folds through. I know there's about a dozen teams out there that already added players back, so we're just kind of waiting to see where that goes. We start school next Monday, so we're kind of under a time crunch a little bit, so hopefully it clears up pretty quick.
You do have players, though, that you're aware are kind of just waiting on that call?
Yeah, I mean, the 3 kids we have, J.D. Lampley was an all-conference player for us last year. Sam Danka was a starter for us last year. Marlon Gunn was a starter at running back and actually had the big run in the bowl game. They got called back with the inverted whistle.
Coach, we appreciate your time. Again, thank you for taking the time out of your prep, and good luck this season.
Appreciate it. You guys have a good one.
Blake Harrell, ECU head football coach. How about that? Little gem at the end there. He's throwing 3 players just waiting on the call. Just need to get the confirmation that they're eligible, and those are not if you paid attention to ECU last year, those are not small additions. Those would really, really help out the team. Gosh, it's a weird spot to be in college football right now. Yeah, I'm either the starter or I'm sitting behind an all-conference guy from next year if he shows up, just waiting on a court ruling. A little difficult to deal with. We have Anish Shroff, the voice of the Carolina Panthers, joining us on that very same Heastra Automotive Group hotline next. But first, Tim Donnelly here for Maynard Service Company. In sports, you got to protect the house, right? You got to protect home. Maynard Service Company does that for you, at least the comforts of home. Heating systems, cooling systems, plumbing, electrical work, the things that make home feel like home. In addition to, like the family pictures on the wall and everything else, you want it to be comfortable inside. Makes it feel like home. Heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical work, whatever you have going on, Maynard Service Company is there to help. Whether it's maintenance, making sure everything's running smooth, making sure your heating and cooling aren't using unnecessary energy, or a plumbing leak, an electrical problem, something with the heating and cooling system that needs work right now. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, Maynard Service Company is always there. 919-361-0993. That's 919-361-0993. Or you can visit them online at MaynardServices.com, MAYNOR Services.com. Anish Shroff, voice of the Panthers, next.
Hey, man, been to Sharky's lately?
Yeah, man, I was there last night with you.
Oh, yeah. The wings and the burgers are killer. They have so many beers it's hard to choose,
I know. They got trivia on Tuesdays and luck of the draw darts on Sunday, man. I love them both.
Yeah, I love that place, man.
You know what, man? I think Sharky's may be the best bar in the world.
Yeah, I think you're right, man. Let's go grab a beer.
Sharky's at the corner of Delta Lake Drive and Durham Road, open 7 days a week.
Worried about car repair costs? Relax. Meineke has you covered with flexible financing solutions customized especially for you. For tires, brakes, engine repairs, and more, you can trust Meineke to get you safely back on the road now and in the future with multiple payment solutions available. No worries. Meineke will make it easy for you. Each Meineke is independently owned and operated. Schedule an appointment today by visiting Meineke.com. Trust your key with Meineke. Meineke, doing car care right.
You could argue that making jewelry by hand is yesterday's way of doing it. You could claim that being particular about custom design and old-world craftsmanship slows down the process. You could call us old-fashioned, and you'd be right. Because the heart and soul of Bailey's is our workshop, where skilled craftsmen create heirlooms meant to last for generations. Come see why we've been voted the best jeweler year after year. Bailey's Fine Jewelry. Every woman wants a Bailey box.
Longer days mean longer rides. Make sure your bike, your ATV, your side-by-side, even your golf cart are the best around. From sound station and security, we've got custom stereo systems, custom speakers, even video and LED lighting options for your bike, your ATV, and even your golf cart. Look the coolest on the road or at the lake, just tooling around. All available with installation from sound station and security, with 2 locations, downtown Smithfield and on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. Online at myhotsound.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Speaking of 99.9 The Fan, at 6 right here on 99.9 The Fan, you can hear Panther talk as we will have now started up for the entire NFL football season. And on Panther Talk, you'll hear Anish Shroff, the voice of the Panthers, bringing you the latest, the insights from inside that facility, and obviously from Dave Canales and more. And he joins us now on the Heastra Automotive Group hotline. Anish Shroff, thank you very much for the time. Let's get some of the insight here. Today we learned that the starters are going to play in week 1 of preseason. It's not game 1 for the Panthers, but it kind of is, which is a change from years past. Does that seem significant to you?
It does. There's an impetus here to get off to a good start once the regular season begins, and you'll hear it on Panther Talk tonight. The last 4 years, Carolina started 0-2, and you dig yourself in that early 0-2 hole. We get this packet from the NFL every week, and it shows your playoff odds. And 0-2 generally doesn't bode well. In fact, the odds are stacked against you if you're 0-2 to make the playoffs in general. So there is a real impetus to capitalize on the momentum that we saw at the end of last year. Give the home fans something to cheer about early in the year. Go out, beat Chicago, get off to a good start. And so I think they want to get the starters some meaningful reps here in the preseason.
Not only all of the starters, but so often when we're talking about the Panthers, we talk about the team or we talk about the offense, and really we're talking about Bryce, just because of the nature of the position. Have you noticed a jump in Bryce's play this preseason? It seems like those that are boots on the ground watching are coming away impressed.
He's been tremendous, and it's been training camp, and that is a story that often gets written about a lot of players, right? They looked great in camp. I want to see how he fares in a game situation with Brad Idzik. Is there a noticeable difference with a new play caller, allowing Dave Canales to scale back and kind of be the big picture CEO both during the week and on game days? There were a lot of positive signs in that regard in the Hall of Fame game, but we want to now see it with the ones and Bryce. Going back to OTAs, he has been just more confident. The body language has been different. He's kind of had this reputation of being a people pleaser in the past. I think that's his personality in a lot of ways, but you start to see him with a little more edge, a little more swagger, not afraid to mince words when the situation calls for it, being more assertive, being more of a leader. I'm hearing that from other guys who I talk to who just kind of noticed that. He's more comfortable now. In year 4, he's the guy. And I think Bryce knows what's at stake, right? He's got his 5th-year option picked up. He doesn't have a long-term deal. If he plays well this year, he's going to get paid like one of the top quarterbacks in the league. I think we all know that, and the Panthers are kind of, waiting to see, does he take an incremental leap, or is that great leap still ahead for Bryce Young?
We're talking with Anish Shroff, the voice of the Panthers here on the Heastra Automotive Group hotline. Speaking, you brought up his name, Brad Idzik, and noticeable difference, and that's one of the things I want to see. I actually did notice a difference in the Hall of Fame game, which, he went into his bag a little bit. There was like a fake screen, and they threw it down the field to James Mitchell, the tight end, and I was going, wait a second, I'm used to vanilla in the preseason. What's going on here? Is that almost part of the deal as well? They want Brad Idzik to get off to a fast start, so they're hiding less?
That I don't know, but again, this is now year 3 of the system. For the most part, people kind of know what you have on offense. You've shown it now for a couple of years. It's not a new staff, so there might be less hesitation in terms of how much you want to show, how much you want to hide. If you've got new plays, new installs, I don't think you'll see any of that in preseason games. But where I do think that this could show up is what you saw at the end of the half. Really at the end of both halves, in the 2-minute drill, where in years past, again, there's so much on Canales' plate. And remember, he was only a play caller for 1 season, right, before he came to Carolina. So you're managing the clock, you're managing, the officials. There's so many things to kind of keep track of. Well, now you see the play calling to Brad Idzik. You can kind of be choosy. Okay, this is where we're going to use our timeouts. They just seem to be more efficient, more quicker in those 2-minute drills, getting in and out of plays, getting the plays in faster. And again, was that a product of week 1? Are we making too much of it? Maybe, but I'm curious to see how this thing plays out, because I do think handing off the play calling reins to Brad Idzik, I think it's going to be great for both Idzik and for Canales.
I can't believe we've talked this long without bringing up everybody's favorite player, Haynes King. Haynes King did the hamstring injury. What does that do for his quest to make the 53-man roster after obviously everybody was so hyped up after the Hall of Fame game?
Well, here's what Haynes King has going for him. That Hall of Fame game was on national TV, and it was the only game in town. So if he doesn't make the Panthers 53, there might be a half dozen, maybe more, other teams out there that were intrigued by what they saw from Haynes King. But I think at the end of the day, the question for the Panthers is, do you take 2 quarterbacks or do you take 3? If you take 3, Haynes is making the 53. If you take 2, then I think you have to weigh, okay, the developmental side of Haynes King, trying to develop him as a project quarterback, is that worth more than a guy like Kenny Pickett, who would be the safe choice? I still think there's a chance the Panthers take 3, but what Haynes King did in that Hall of Fame game, especially with the lights on, the big spots, he had to be Superman at Georgia Tech for them to be competitive. So he's been in that spotlight before, but I think he's earned a 53-man spot on somebody's roster if it's not Carolina's.
We're talking with Anish Shroff, voice of the Panthers. Let's talk some of the maybe positions to watch in camp. Trevin Wallace played in that Hall of Fame game. There appears to be some kind of a battle for that spot next to Devin Lloyd between he and Claudin Charles. How have you seen that battle taking place during camp?
Well, they both played in that first game, so that tells you that is very much a position battle. Charles, when Wallace got hurt last year, played well down the stretch. He really impressed the coaching staff. Now, this is year 3 for Wallace, and they're looking for him to take that leap. I would throw one more name in there, and that's a guy who's probably not on the roster right now. So you got Trevin Wallace, you got Claudin Charles, and depending on what shakes out at the end of August with cuts, there could be another veteran presence who's in that mix as well for that inside linebacker spot.
How have they been replacing Nick Scorton in the rotation now that it's not the immediate reaction, but they've had some time?
Well, it's been Princely Umanmielen. It's been Pat Jones. Both have something to prove. Jones is in a contract year. He had an injury-plagued season last year. And Princely, who has talked a big game since he's gotten here, there's a belief, not just by Princely, but also within his staff and his front office, that he has a lot of what you look for in a first-round edge rusher. He has to put it together, and he's got to be consistent. And that's going to be important for him. I talked to other guys on the defensive side of the ball, and they rave about Princely's raw talent. If he can find consistency to pair with the talent, he's got a chance to be an impact edge rusher for the Panthers. But that is, again, to be determined. And then, you go further down the depth chart, guys like Trevis Gibson, Thomas Incoom, who's been a pretty solid special teams player, they potentially have a chance to get some reps there at edge as well.
Last one for you before we let you go, and we appreciate your time, and we'll definitely be tuned into Panther Talk this evening. Monroe Freeling, right? We didn't get to see him in the Hall of Fame game because he's a first-round pick, but he's a locked and loaded starter at the moment. How has he been picking it up with that the obviously right tackle where he's expected to be week 1?
Yeah, the challenge for him, he's had to go up against Jalen Phillips a lot during one-on-one drills and during camp. And Phillips has looked really good so far in training camp. And Monroe Freeling, in his defense, has looked like a rookie right tackle. I'm curious to see, once he gets there against somebody else, it's not Jalen Phillips taking most of those reps, how he fares. They really like his upside. And you got to remember, the plan initially was to ease him in. You had Rasheed Wallace, you had Taylor Moton. Injuries have forced the hand, but again, you could do a lot worse than an athletic first-round pick at right tackle. And I should tell your audience, too, you guys are going to enjoy Panther Talk today. Luke Kuechly, we taped an interview with him earlier today. As busy as that man is, he took a few minutes to chat with us, so we kind of get the download post-Hall of Fame weekend from Luke Kuechly tonight on Panther Talk.
I absolutely loved every bit of content from Luke Kuechly over Hall of Fame weekend. The fact that he was still trying to get Drew Brees to give him answers to their little back and forths from 10, 15 years ago was fantastic. I'm a big fan, and I'm definitely looking forward to hearing your conversations with him. Anish, we appreciate it as always, and enjoy training camp because the season's going to be here real quick.
Appreciate it, Tim. Take care.
Once again, Anish Shroff, the voice of the Panthers, here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. When we come back, we're not going to go that far from it, right? It's football at 4 coming up next. Stick around.
Is your heating and air system ready for the warmer weather? Call Newcomb & Company to ensure your system is running at peak performance. As a Comfort Contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs. Newcomb & Company, your Carrier factory authorized dealer, has proudly served our community for more than 70 years, delivering reliable comfort and peace of mind. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company. Your comfort is our business.
If you have a 2, 3, or 4% mortgage rate, don't refinance it. You don't have to, but you can still get cash out of your home. Introducing Loan Pronto's zero-cost equity loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. That's right. With Loan Pronto, you can get all the cash you need without touching your first mortgage and without any fees. One local homeowner just got $100,000, paid off all their credit cards, paid off their existing HELOC, remodeled their kitchen, and saved over $1,500 per month. It gets better. There's no hard credit pull up front, usually no appraisal, no long drawn-out process, and listen, no closing costs. You may be able to even skip your next 2 house payments. Call Loan Pronto now. Leave your low-rate mortgage intact, but get the cash you need in as little as 2 weeks without paying closing costs. LoanPronto.com. See how much you can get right now. Call 919-381-1760. That's 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. For qualified homeowners, equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Hey, it's the weather. I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Oh, it's hot out there, a high of 95 and very humid, so it feels like the triple digits. Small chance for thunderstorms, especially in our eastern counties. Mid-70s overnight tonight, and we're back into the mid-90s for tomorrow. Possible heat advisory for tomorrow with those triple-digit heat indices. Also, a level 1 risk for severe storms, so we could see some isolated wind damage.
4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 144 points today to 53,892.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We just got done talking with Anish Shroff, the voice of the Carolina Panthers. So let's go ahead and stay right there, shall we? It's Football at 4, brought to you by John Heister, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington. Get off your keister and come to Heister. There's a lot of things like kind of they seem almost what's the word I'm looking for, like karmic, but cosmic maybe, that are working towards and helping Haynes King. Let's think about what Haynes King is real quick, okay? And Panthers fans, I know you've turned him into like a superhero kind of, right? But remove the myth and let's just think about what Haynes King is. Haynes King is a very, very good college quarterback who played at least in college, a very, very college game, right? Meaning ran the football a bunch, meaning good old-fashioned hard work, student body, right? Like knew how to find a way to win, but he was not showing all of the elements that the pro level is looking for. So he goes undrafted. He gets picked up by a team as an undrafted free agent that has at least for this season, a locked-in starting quarterback and a locked-in backup quarterback that the money that they're being paid shows exactly what they are. But this happens to be the year where that team gets an extra preseason game. Right? You have a 2 out of 32 chance, right? You have a 1 in 16 chance of that happening. And then on top of that, that Hall of Fame game ends up being a high-scoring barn burner, right? The over-under on that game, depending on where you looked, was like 34.5 points total. Got 63 in the game scored. So you have all these opportunities to look great as a quarterback. And as Anish Shroff pointed out to us right before the break, there's no other games going on that week. So everyone in the league is watching, and everyone in the league gets to see you have this big spotlight game. If that happens on Thursday, if that happens on Saturday of this week, some third stringer has a good game, who knows? Who knows what happens there, right? Who knows if anyone sees it? Who knows if the Panthers are as nervous? But because it was the only game and, teams across the country had to listen to sports media talk about how exciting Carson Beck versus Haynes King was, perhaps the Panthers are now afraid to put him on waivers. And if you're not putting someone on waivers, you better have a plan to use them somehow. Right? A lot of teams don't carry 3 on their active roster. So if he goes to another team that doesn't play in the Hall of Fame game, he maybe doesn't have the moment that puts him onto the national radar. So now the teams are more comfortable leaving him on waivers, and the whole thing changes. The whole thing changes. Now he has a hamstring injury, but he's already kind of protected because you don't want to put him on waivers and have him scooped up somewhere else. But do you know what's the maybe the craziest part about all of it? The way I'm kind of describing it makes it feel like it's such a big, important deal, and quite frankly, for the Panthers, it really isn't. Right? For the Panthers, it really isn't. The entirety of it comes down to a few things, and it's really, who cares who's your third string quarterback? Tom Moore has the legendary offensive mind behind the Peyton Manning Colts teams. He was once asked why they don't give backup quarterbacks more reps in practice, and he said because if Peyton Manning gets hurt, we're bleeped, and we don't practice bleeped. Well, guess what? If you're to your third string quarterback, your season's smoked anyway. Especially if it's for more than like one game. Your season's smoked anyway. So I'm rooting for Haynes King. If you've listened to the show, you know that he's been kind of one of our guys for a while. Like, even when he's playing for Georgia Tech, sure would be nice to have a guy like that on our side.
He's just he was a baller in college.
He was really fun to talk to, really fun to watch. But I don't think it impacts the Panthers almost at all. If it wasn't the only game that had been played, we wouldn't be talking about him now. The starters are going to play on Thursday. There's no way if Bryce Young plays 10 to 20 snaps that we would be sitting around here and picking apart Haynes King. We'd be picking apart the 10 to 20 plays that Bryce Young plays. That's the way I look at it all. By the way, Adam Schefter did float the idea of a Taysom Hill role. He was on with Pat McAfee earlier today. He said, Adam Schefter said, I think Haynes King is going to have a role with the Panthers. It wouldn't shock me if they used him in a Taysom Hill role. We'll see. He did run the 5th fastest 40 of any quarterback in combine history. Just a hair off of Anthony Richardson. So he does bring a certain amount of athleticism, which is fun to hear. It's good to hear. Now let's look at the real deal here. Right? They signed Trask, by the way. Kyle Trask, the old Florida, meaning University of Florida quarterback who spent some time with the Bucs most famously. They signed him to be the third quarterback until Haynes King can return. But what does a backup quarterback do? If you've listened to the show, you know exactly what I'm about to say. What is a backup quarterback's role? To serve the starter. If they need coffee at 5 a.m., you're there and you've got decaf and caffeinated. You let them make the choice. If they need to know what the safety did on that one play because they were carrying out their play action fake and their back was to the defense, you're there to tell them what the safety did on that one play. So Haynes King, Kyle Trask, Kenny Pickett, we're going to debate them because it's an important position and backup quarterbacks are names that we know. But in reality, the best thing they can do is get Bryce Young ready. The best thing they can do is be great in the room. And that's not to say ignore their own individual goals. Like they want to be preparing as if they're the starter. But it is about Bryce Young. There are levels to everything with Bryce Young. Right? Because we all put the same qualifiers out. Right? Everyone in media is really, really good about throwing just a little if at the beginning of something you say, and then that gives you plausible deniability, gives you an escape hatch, right? And I'm not saying this is what he was trying to do. We all do it, but even Anish Shroff, right? If Bryce plays really well, they're going to cut him a starting caliber check. I forget his exact words. If he plays really well, or if he plays top of his potential. If he does that. You put that at the beginning of the sentence, anything after it, you can kind of get out of. Well, I said if he plays well. We need numbers. If he throws for this many yards, if he throws for this many touchdowns and this few interceptions, if they win this many games, that's what we need to start talking about when it comes to Bryce. Because I agree there is a world, and I'm not saying this is likely. For those of you that think I predicted it a couple weeks ago, I definitely did not. I think there is a world where they do give Bryce a gigantic contract next offseason. I think the level of play that he is going to have to show is higher than what most believe. And significantly better than anything he's shown thus far. And that has absolutely nothing to do with Kenny Pickett, Haynes King, or Kyle Trask. It is independent of. If Bryce Young doesn't work out this year and they're looking for a quarterback next year, I don't believe they're on the roster now. They'll be looking elsewhere, draft, free agency, wherever. So we're going to have some fun talking backup quarterbacks, but in reality, it's all a very, very simple conversation. And it comes down to Bryce. I was actually, some of you heard it, and I appreciate you all reaching out, but I was on the ESPN National Network over the weekend doing some fill-in work, and of course, once they see where I'm from, it's like, all right, let's talk Panthers, and I actually told my co-host, I was like, I'm going to bore you, because you're going to ask me a Panthers question, and you're going to hope for like 20 minutes of really in-depth, like, you need this corner to do this, or you're going to look for a lot, and it's not. It's really simple. It comes down to Bryce Young. I like the defense. I like Jalen Phillips. I like Devin Lloyd. I like the additions. Anish Shroff just gave us a long breakdown on what Prince Umanmielen can do to potentially become a high-impact player at edge rusher. I like his potential. We talked about the off-ball linebacker debate, right? Positions. Is it Trevin Wallace? Is it Claudin Charles? Is it someone who's not even on the roster? These are all potential conversations that could matter. But not really. If Bryce plays great, it'll go well. If Bryce plays poorly, it doesn't matter if you pick the right off-ball linebacker to play alongside Devin Lloyd or not. It doesn't. And Kenny Pickett's probably not going to bail you out of that. Haynes King's probably not going to bail you out of that. And Kyle Trask is not going to bail you out of that. The way the position is built, and this is not just a Bryce Young conversation, but the way the position is built in the sport at this point in time, your quarterback is so important. If you don't have it figured out, you might as well just, unplug the game without saving and start over. All right, a few things I want to remind you about. I haven't done so yet today, which is a mess up on my part. We are going to open up the phone lines for a little Monday Soundoff. So I'll let you know exactly when. It's going to be in about 2 minutes. So you can get your phone out. You can start dialing. But we want to hear from you, whether it's a Panthers conversation, whether it's a college football conversation. There's some polls out there on Carolina Hurricanes. What was it? 12th best defenseman in the NHL, according to NHL Media or NHL Network. Jacob Slavin. You got to have a thought on that. Alexander Nikishin. ECU. NC State. How good CJ Bailey? UNC. Who's going to be their quarterback? My point is, we are going to open up the phone lines here in a second. But first, I do want to let you know that the Jamboree High School OT that was scheduled for Saturday, they did play, a game and a half, essentially, before the lightning strikes within the area. And I don't pretend to know all the weather rules, but the experts said they had to stop play. So there is great high school kind of preseason action today from some of the best teams in the state. It's the High School OT Jamboree featuring scrimmages that are going to be treated like games between Southern Durham and Middle Creek, 6 p.m., Cardinal Gibbons and Millbrook, 7 p.m., and then a kind of a triangular. They'll all get to face off against each other in a three-way scrimmage. Southeast Raleigh, Rollsville, and Wake Forest. This all taking place at Wake Med Soccer Park in Cary, and all presented by High School OT, our colleagues here at Capital Broadcasting. But I kid you not when I say, if you go check out those 7 teams as they play today at 6, 7, and 8 at Wake Med Soccer Park in Cary, you'll see probably 24 players that are going to go on to play in college. And a good amount of them are already committed, like now, at least the juniors and seniors. But if you include the younger players that will be recruited as they develop, you're probably seeing 24 go on to play like significant college football, power conference, or super high group of 5, in addition to some of the best teams in the state. So that's all going on today as a makeup for what they could not finish on Saturday. And there will be another jamboree on Friday, which I believe we're going to be broadcasting from. So we'll be out there on location. I'll be doing some coin tosses and things before games. So we're looking forward to all of that. Before I open up the lines for Monday's Soundoff, I want to remind you that Football at 4 was brought to you by John Heister, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington. Get off your keister and come to Heister. Now let's open up the phone lines. Monday's Soundoff, 919-860-5326. Call in now, 919-860-5326. You get to drive the show. We'll also do it this way, though. Because we had 2 interviews in the first hour, we didn't get to it. We can do winners and losers if you want. If you want to call in with a winner or a loser, somebody who won or lost the last week in vibes, not necessarily on a scoreboard, although they could do both. You can call in with that, or you can just call in with a question, comment, debate, whatever you want to get into. It's all right here on 99.9 The Fan. Again, the phone number, 919-860-5326. Heister Automotive Group hotline open for your calls. Call in now. Monday Soundoff next.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
It's disgusting. It's annoying. If a billionaire tells you, hey, I just bought another yacht, are you like, wow, amazing, way to go? You're like, cool, rub it in. I don't have air conditioning. I don't think this is fun for other fans around Major League Baseball. The Dodgers can get anybody they want, and the worst part about this is a lockout is all but signed, sealed, delivered.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
You pull up at a McDonald's drive-thru at the crack of dawn to get your $3 crispy chicken biscuit. You've been craving it all night. It was a very long night, but your taste buds pulled through. Those are no ordinary taste buds, and you are no ordinary human. You are a champion, and you deserve a $3 crispy chicken biscuit. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-881-8686. That's 800-881-8686. 800-881-8686.
Progressive presents a guided meditation.
Hear the birds sing. A chipmunk nibbling on an acorn. Smell the pine needles gently falling into your living room as the breeze blows through the gaping hole in your roof. Gaze up at that broken tree branch and relax, because you bundled your home and auto with Progressive and have the peace of mind of 24/7 protection. So relaxing.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to open up the phone lines. 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326. The Heister Automotive Group hotline is open for your use. It's a Monday Soundoff. You get to call in and drive the show. We'll take it in whatever direction you want to take it. Starting with, called in quick, Ken in Raleigh wants to sound off on some flag football. Ken in Raleigh, I said you can talk about whatever you want, so the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Hey, I'm calling because of a fun fact of flag football, because flag football has been taking off, right? You know?
All right, fun fact. I like fun facts.
Right. So I'm stating claim that ESPN played in the first, the oldest, and the longest original 9-man contact flag football league. It was in Connecticut when it was from 1984 to 2014, 30 straight years. And I did research. I think the first flag football game was like in 72 in the Army, so we might be the first and the oldest. Here's the fun fact. Kenny Maynes, Stuart Scott, Mark Schlereth, Stank, Merle Hodges, and a bunch of other NFL players came to play in this league. It was 9-man games, doubleheaders, 9 a.m., 11 a.m., 4 20-minute quarters. I repeat, 4 20-minute quarters contact.
All right. Contact flag football? Isn't the point of flag to not have contact? I'm confused.
Yeah, and they don't even do that no more. We had 15-yard first downs. I'm in the process of trying to get a first annual reunion to coming back. You know, because
Ken, I appreciate your enthusiasm, but we're gonna have to do some research on our own on this one. We appreciate the call. Thank you very much for the history lesson there. I do remember Stuart Scott used to always pop up playing. He was always ready to go play catch with someone throwing the receiver gloves, probably Carolina blue receiver gloves, but did not know they were part of the first flag football. Now it is blowing up, sanctioned in high school and everything. Austin in Durham is up next. Let's go to Austin in Durham on the Heaster Automotive Group hotline, 919-860-5326. Austin, the floor is yours. Go ahead and sound off.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. As far as winners and losers go, I am selling vibes, as in dump. This is not a stock you want to buy on the Golden State Valkyries in the WNBA.
Okay.
They were hot going into the All-Star break, but lost to one scrub and then almost lost to another scrub last night. I think they are not going to be a championship contender. But my real question is, how well do you think the WNBA would do in the Triangle?
All right. Two different points here. I appreciate the call. Call back in anytime. I have to admit I am not up on the Valkyries' latest momentum. Although for a while there, one of my social media algorithms was kicking me Olivia Miles highlights. The block she had on the woman on the other team that looked like they were 1.5 feet taller than her is pretty bananas. So I love the fearlessness of Olivia Miles going up for the block, and she's also scoring a bunch of points and doing everything else.
And the Lynx are also in first place in the league.
Did you see the block? Google or Twitter search Olivia Miles.
I was listening to your segment with the other host who brought up that play. Wasn't it a foul?
It wasn't a foul. It was called a foul.
I see.
Which the WNBA is having a problem with.
They have some ref issues right now.
They don't seem to have the best. How would the WNBA do in the Triangle? Potentially very well. The only issue I would see as to why maybe they wouldn't come to our area is we are one of the few markets in the country that doesn't have a WNBA team and is already fairly invested in women's basketball. With the college teams in the area, you could argue there's a bunch of women's basketball fans and more the merrier, but you could also argue
market's already saturated.
Yeah, I don't know if people are going to want to buy season tickets to a WNBA if they already have season tickets to Carolina women's basketball or Duke women's basketball or State women's or Wakes or whoever. So it's I would have to do, and I'm not going to, but I would have to do like a bigger market study on economics and get the Chamber of Commerce involved or something. But I would enjoy it. I think the more professional sports teams, the better. I think sports fans beget more sports fans. Again, Heaster Automotive Group hotline open for your calls, 919-860-5326. Let's go to David in Goldsboro. Has something he wants to sound off on. David, welcome to the show. Go ahead and sound off.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. Yeah, I want to sound off on Bryce Young. So I've been kind of out of the loop with the NFL offseason, but I've run across articles where he's in the top 100 NFL players.
Correct.
It's absurd. I don't think he's a top 100 quarterback in all of football. If you take all of the starters, all of the backups in the NFL, all of the NCAA players, there are probably 20 guys in college I would rather have over Bryce Young. UFL, XFL, he's not a top 100 quarterback for sure. I have no faith in him. I haven't enjoyed the Carolina Panthers in 4 years. This guy is a quarterback from the 1950s. averaging 170 yards a game. It's ridiculous. I feel like I'm losing my mind. And you just said that they're going to give him a contract extension. I would stop watching.
Wait. Nobody said that they're going to give him a contract. So that's ironically exactly what I said would happen. If he plays significantly better than he has played, I do think they would give him a contract, but that's a big if at the beginning.
See, how are we even having this conversation? He hasn't played well. He hasn't looked like a starting caliber quarterback his entire time in the NFL. Why does he get another year? What am I missing? Why
okay. All right. I can tell you exactly. I can tell you exactly what you're missing. They traded a boatload for him, and he was the number 1 overall pick. And those guys get the longest on ramp. I say it all the time. Top quarterbacks that are drafted, they have 9 lives. I think he's used like 7 or 8 of his, but you get 9 lives. You get to see him all the way through. By the way, the top 100 list that you just stumbled into, that's voted upon by the players. So that's who said that.
Some conspiracy to push Bryce Young among David Tepper, like in the media, to keep him from other teams. Like, there has to be something going on. This guy averages 160 passing yards a game. What am I missing?
I think I just told you what you're missing. You're missing that he's a first-round pick, and those guys get 100 chances to first overall pick, and those guys get to try again.
Well, we all suffer in the meantime. So I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your call.
I take issue with that caller.
You don't think you think he is or is not a top 100?
I don't think that guy's even watching games.
It is.
That's the most box score watching take I've ever heard in my life. Specifically because he was like, he's averaging 175 yards. Well, when he prefaced it, and that I understand that he was exaggerating, but to even pretend like Bryce Young wouldn't be a top 100 quarterback in all of football is insane. It's like the could the Alabama beat the Cleveland Browns takes that we used to have when the Browns were not winning any games. Like, no, the Browns would win by 4 touchdowns because that's all the best college players put together on a professional team, and it's grown men that get paid to play football. It's the same for this, but if you don't acknowledge, if you can't acknowledge that Bryce Young has progressed every year over year, gotten better, and shown some flashes of brilliance, even if you don't think he's a franchise elite quarterback, I understand that. I don't think most people would claim that. There are some hardcore believers and fans that would for sure, but to at least not say that he's like an average NFL starter level, you're just not even watching at this point. Even in the playoffs, it's not even like you have to go dig up a random regular season performance against the Falcons, who he always seems to torch. Like, he threw for 260-something yards and 2 touchdowns against the Rams in the playoffs last year, and darn near took down a really good football team in his first playoff start. I'm not saying that he's like a top 10, again, great quarterback or anything, but to at least not even acknowledge that he's NFL starter level, I think is silly.
He might not be NFL starter level. That is definitely on, like, if the Panthers give up on him this year, nobody's bringing him in quickly to start because they would have given up on him, and he'd have to go somewhere and at minimum, the Sam Darnold
a bad of enough of a year this year that they just completely cut bait on him, then like maybe there would be some credence to that, but that's just not going to happen. Just straight up is not going to happen.
He's let's say they win 6 games this year, which is like what I believe the odds, like that's their over-under, 6.5. If they win 6 games this year, he enters into that like Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, end of the rookie contract, have to go somewhere else and figure it out kind of vibe.
Those guys weren't great, but would you have someone calling up and being like, there's 100 better quarterbacks in the game of football better than Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield at those times? I don't think so.
You don't think the New York Jets said it when he was sitting there seeing ghosts on 100%?
That's true.
I bet you Panther
I'm thinking
fans
more of
would have
Panther.
said that
I'm thinking more
about
Panther
both of
Sam
those
Darnold.
guys.
Sam Darnold kind of operated well, though. Like, he was a good game manager.
Here's the issue. It's a Bryce issue, but it's also just a how we talk about quarterbacks issue. We refuse, and I say we as like a sports fandom, sports world as a whole, to acknowledge a middle class of quarterbacks. Everybody is either elite or not, right? Going back to, we used to have this debate about Joe Flacco and Eli Manning and that era of quarterback. They're elite or they're not, and if you're not, you're trash. There's a middle class of quarterbacks, right? I think there are, at any given time, probably 10 difference makers, like truly, goodness gracious, you're awesomes. And there's probably 10 starters that are maybe not deserving of being a starter. And everyone in the middle is just the middle class. Bryce Young probably flirts with middle class to that bottom 10 throughout his career, at times spending a good amount of time in the bottom 10, at times spending a good amount of time in that middle class. But we don't believe in a middle class of quarterback. And it's very, very strange to me because we can acknowledge, like, let me think of a good example, like Chuba Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard, he's like, we have no problem going. He's good. He's not great.
I think Bryce Young's better at quarterback than Chuba Hubbard is at running back.
I don't know about that one. But it's like we acknowledge Chuba Hubbard is like a solid starter. He's not a Pro Bowler. He's not a – but if you give him 20 carries a game and he's healthy, you're not going to be upset. Like, we don't have that at quarterback.
I think he is that at quarterback.
But no one – like – nobody has that.
Okay, that's not like a level that is sort of that exists for a QB. I see what you're saying.
For some reason, it's a position where you're treated as if you are a perennial MVP candidate or somebody that needs to be replaced. There's no middle ground at quarterback, which is why you have somebody saying, like, I want to know who that caller's, like, 27th best quarterback is. Right, because to me, he probably
said like Kenny Pickett.
He probably has 10 or 20 guys that he thinks are top 10, and 50 guys that he thinks are not top 100.
And 20, he said there's 20 college quarterbacks he'd take over Bryce. If he can send that list over, I'd like to take a look at it.
There are some good college quarterbacks.
There are some good college quarterbacks, but 20 college quarterbacks better than Bryce Young
do we get them on 4 years rookie contract? We can have a conversation. Gray in Raleigh wants to weigh in on the subject. You can as well. Heaster Automotive Group hotline, 919-860-5326. Gray in Raleigh wants to sound off on Bryce. Gray, what do you have for us?
Hey, y'all. I usually do not get on the Bryce Young debate because I know it's either you're going to become someone's biggest fan or someone's going to put the knife to your throat. But I did want to kind of jump in from that last caller.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of with Max too on this. I think Bryce Young is a starter level quarterback. Panthers did not give him a new contract next year. I think he very much could end up in the same situation as Kyler Murray. I do think there might be a hot take. I think Bryce is better than Kyler Murray, at least in 2026, starting this season, and he's doing just fine. He's going to go somewhere. I think seasons fluctuate with quarterbacks, unless you're Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes, so frequently each season that next season there will be 4 to 5 teams that do need somebody to come in there and start for them, and it might be one of those options that another team cuts. Maybe it is Bryce Young, but I really don't think he's that bad. Is he the greatest quarterback in the NFL? Absolutely not. Is he number 32 in 32 teams? No, he is not. I'd put him probably firmly at 15, and I think last year with Sam Darnold, we kind of established you don't need to be a top 5 quarterback to be able to take your team into the playoffs with a deep run into the Super Bowl. I think Bryce Young gets a lot of flack because he's easy to hate on. And yes, of course, he has not played that great for 3 years. I think he did pretty well last year. But when you look at some of these other teams with quarterbacks who kind of have some average, maybe slightly above average play, their defense is elite. They have exceptional wide receivers, 1 or 2, maybe sometimes 3, and another couple pieces here and there that help them. I think a good comparison is C.J. Stroud. People have kind of started to put Stroud on notice in the last, towards the end of last year that maybe he's not doing that well, but the Texans do not get the same flack that the Panthers get. They get double the respect with Stroud, arguably having regressed much further beyond where Bryce currently is at this point. I think Bryce is playing better or finished last year playing better than Stroud with less pieces in the last couple years. I think Bryce is fine. I think he's going to do fine. I really do hope he succeeds with the Panthers. If he doesn't, then I'll eat my foot. But I think he's not as bad as some people say.
All right. I appreciate it. He's not as bad as some people say. He's also not as good as some people say.
Yeah.
That's the issue here.
And that guy had the very reason. I think that's like the very reasonable take there. It's like it's very much somewhere in the middle, and we have to see what happens this year.
I also the C.J. Stroud thing is very easily explained to me. Playoffs every year, winning games. Like that's the difference.
They also had the best defense in the league, though.
But winning solves everything, regardless of why. Sam Darnold proved you can win, and you don't need to have the best quarterback.
It's also super elite defense.
Yeah, if you want to have Mike McDonald's defense and you want to have that crew, then you don't need an elite quarterback. But if you don't have that defense, that elite quarterback is kind of necessary. There's only one Super Bowl a year, okay? So 1 outlier really feels like it proves something when, if you look at the big picture, like let's look at the quarterbacks that have won Super Bowls recently. Like Sam Darnold won one. Yep. Jalen Hurts won one. All right, so we got 2 straight years with like not a top 5 quarterback. Patrick Mahomes, Matt Stafford, Patrick Mahomes, what is it? Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Nick Foles. That's like an off one. Like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Russell Wilson. Like it's
end of his career, Peyton Manning.
But still, and also an all-time defense. So that's really what it is. You can win with a really, really good quarterback, MVP candidate quarterback, or an equally as good defense and a moderate quarterback. You either need to have an MVP caliber defense or an MVP caliber quarterback. Those are your 2 options. Those are your 2 options. And Bryce, if you have Bryce, you better have an MVP caliber defense. He's on that side of things. And also, like when it comes to, and I didn't want to make this all about Bryce, but heck, we're gonna see him. He's playing 10 to 20 snaps this Thursday in their first preseason game. There is also a price where Bryce makes sense, right? Because if you have to put a great defense, or if you have to put a great offensive skill position or offensive line around him, that's one thing. If you're paying him $10 million a year or $20 million a year, it's a completely separate one if you're paying him $55 million a year. And that's another flaw in the NFL. There really is no middle class. There's the guys making 50 plus, there's the guys making backup money, and there's no one that makes sense in the middle there. It's just like when somebody says, like, we'll use the Carolina Hurricanes. They should not trade Alexander Nikishin. And I'm going like, we don't know what the deal is. Right? If somebody's willing to give 7 first-round picks, 2 All-Stars, a Norris Trophy winner, then trade him. You know what I mean? And obviously that's an exaggeration, but same here. Don't re-sign Bryce. Tell me how much money. Right now, I am dead set on they should not give him $50+ million unless he knocks my socks off this year, which I'm open to because I root for people and he seems like a nice guy, but that doesn't mean I won't sign him under any circumstances. If he wants to take a wildly reasonable, seemingly cheap deal, we can talk about it. I can't tell you whether I would or wouldn't re-sign anybody if you don't tell me how much money I'm going to have to give him. Which, by the way, is the number one way to like rehab a quote-unquote broken quarterback, right? We saw Daniel Jones. We saw Sam Darnold. We've seen Baker Mayfield recently. These guys, they go on deals that are like prove-it deals, or they're 20-something million or low 30-something million, and because of that, their teams are better around them. They get into a rhythm. They play much better. It makes sense, right? That might be one of my new crusades. I have a lot of crusades, a lot of things that I'm out there trying to prove. One of them might be like make a quarterback middle class. There needs to be an acknowledgement that, if there can't be nobody making $30 million in the NFL at quarterback. Can't be everybody's making 54 or 6. It can't be that. There are quarterbacks that are worth $19 million. And you can win with them at $19 million. You can't win with them at 50-something, but you can win with them if you get them plus 35 extra million in defense. Think about that. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, and also very easy to say where I'm sitting, right? Because if I'm the agent of any of these quarterbacks, if I'm the agent of Bryce Young, I'm not taking a discount, right? I'm saying it's pass-fail. He passed, and this would obviously come at the end of the year if he does pass all the tests. But if it's pass-fail and he passes and you want to keep him, you're darn right they're going to ask for all the money in the world. Which there are a lot of guys getting paid. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Let's hit some real quick winners and losers here at the end of this segment because we were unable to get to it at the beginning of the show due to some interviews that we had. How about running backs? Speaking of money,
this team
there you go.
Will never lose again.
By the way, Max, we went to the bullpen. We brought in Dave Modlin to produce the show today, so he was the one quick on the intro there. reactive to me moving and shaking in the show. Winner running backs. Bijan, Gibbs, Taylor are all at least $22 million per year. And what did I just say, right? Agents, they're now looking around going, the running back market is back, everybody. Maybe Omarion Hampton, local guy, right? Played his, from Clayton and played his college, obviously, at UNC. Big year for him this year, big year next year. Maybe he'll be the first $25 million a year running back. Who knows? More winners and losers. Oh, this was geared towards Max. I was gonna twist the knife. Loser, the Red Sox, because Max is a Red Sox fan. They had gone 27-3 in their previous 30 games, going back to before July 4th. But they've lost back-to-back games for the first time in what feels like forever. The hottest team in Major League Baseball, I should say. Lost 2 to the Athletics. Losers. And Max didn't even get to take that. That was all for him. Winner. How about this? This one is a fun hockey debate if you and your buddies are looking for something to chop up while at happy hour. Jacob Slavin and Sebastian Aho make the winners section because The Athletic put out their annual article of Hockey Hall of Fame tiers, meaning what active NHL stars they think will make the Hall of Fame. And there's a bunch of categories, right? They could retire today and make it. You know who those players are. The probably ins, the keep compiling, the outside shots, the on tracks, the check back in a few years. The only players from the Canes on any of the lists were Jacob Slavin, who was listed as an outside shot. Basically, the entire write-up was if the voters can appreciate defensive defensemen as well as point-producing defensemen, Slavin can get there. If they don't appreciate that, he can't. And then Aho was on the check back in a few years. I think there's going to be that kind of movement for Aho where everybody's going like, well, actually, wait a second now. This past year, he went from like a solid compiler of stats to Stanley Cup champ, bronze medalist, top-line center on that Stanley Cup championship team, and he already has 711 points, and he's still just turned 29. So watch out for that. And then if you're wondering, Brent Burns was even higher up on the list because he's going to break some records this year that they think could put him in. Just a former Cane. Let's get one more loser here before we move on. Loser. Which one do I roll with? How about the Bills? The Buffalo Bills. We should get ahead of this because the Panthers are playing at the Bills on Thursday. Apparently everybody hates their new stadium and everyone hates their new jerseys. They have those gray, they're calling them, there you go. They're calling them Nickel City jerseys. They look like, there's a lot of memes out there. Some say it looks like a Diet Coke can. Some say it looks like a bad Boise State uniform. Some people say it looks like the jerseys used to create a team on Madden or NCAA football. They don't look great. And then I just can't imagine spending $1 billion of owner and taxpayer money unveiling a new stadium and having everybody go, no. Jumbotron's not big enough. People are, for my Office fans out there, they're comparing it to Michael Scott's tiny little flat screen from the dinner party episode. There are apparently seats where you can't see the field. So the Bills, losers. Even though they have Josh Allen, so they're kind of winners. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We can go ahead and move on from winners and losers. Although if you have some, we'd always like to hear from you. Go ahead and throw them in our YouTube live chat, 99.9 The Fan. We'll monitor them. If there's anyone particularly outstanding, we may just bring them onto the show. All right. We do have some conversation about Hall of Fame speeches and Luke Kuechly coming up next. But first, before the season even kicks off, yeah, we don't count that first preseason game. Before the preseason even really kicks off, everyone's making predictions. Who wins the game? Who wins the division? Who's lifting the trophy at the end of the season? On Kalshi, America's #1 prediction market platform, that's right, you can trade those predictions in a live market. How about this? Tetairoa McMillan, breakout candidate, right? If he and Bryce are on the same page, Tetairoa McMillan to lead the NFL in receiving yards, less than 1%. That's what it's trading at right now, meaning a $100 trade would pay out just under $3,500 if it comes true. And on Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And as the probability changes, game to game, week to week, drive to drive, play to play, as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. Trade the draft pick, the end of season award, the game, the preseason game, and more on Kalshi. Download the Kalshi app and use code TIMD, that's TIMD, to get up to $500 in bonus credits when you trade $25. KALSHI, Kalshi, trade on anything. 18 plus only. Restriction and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Kalshi products are not available in all jurisdictions. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see Kalshi.com/regulatory. Gambling problem, call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. The Drive with Tim Donnelly will be back talking Hall of Fame next.
Move your sports day forward.
Soccer put its best foot forward this summer and tried everything it could to not put its foot in its mouth. Stellar play from the world's top stars in Messi and Mbappe, and a cult social media hero in the chiseled Viking Erling Haaland. It's a shame this will all be forgotten for another 4 years. Maybe we could get Shakira and the Muppets to do a yearly halftime show.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Hello, I'm John Heister for the Heister Automotive Group. And you know, we're constantly looking for ways to serve you better. One of the ways we do that is with something we call a Go-See. And that's where you select a vehicle from our inventory, and we have thousands, and we get one of our product specialists to bring that vehicle to you at your convenience. How do we do that? Well, it's simple. We have a group of employees that are evaluated based on the number of presentations they do. They're glad to do it. So it's just one more way we get off our keister and bring Heister to you.
Yeah, can you pass me a Baja?
A what?
Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Try it. It's tropical at first, then the lime flavor hits.
Oh, okay. That's crisp. Tastes like vacation.
Right?
Mm-hmm. And it's mine now.
Have a Baja Blast.
Right now at Circle K, buy a 20-ounce Mountain Dew and get another for just $1. Do the Dew at Circle K today.
Hey, this is Luke with Newcomb & Company. We're a residential, commercial, plumbing, HVAC company who's been serving the community for over 70 years. Honesty is the biggest policy around here. You know, we take pride in everything we do, anything we touch. We're not one of those companies that come and throw it in and then you can't get a hold of them again. We're there with you hand in hand. Here at Newcomb & Company, what stands apart from other companies is we actually do more than just AC and heat pumps. We do boilers, geothermals, furnaces, radiant floor, anything that is odds and ends that nobody else can touch is what we thrive on. At Newcomb & Company, we do same-day service. That's also another thing that helps us stand apart from other places is we do same-day service because we have enough professionals to get out to these houses to solve what the problems are. And we're on 24/7 on emergency basis, weekends, nights, holidays, you name it, we're there.
Newcomb & Company, your Carrier factory authorized dealer. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
Now at Lowe's, faster quotes start at the Lowe's Pro Desk. Got a material list handwritten on a sticky note or saved as a photo? Perfect. Bring it to us and get a quote in minutes. And if you don't see what you need on the shelf, we'll help you get it. You can access thousands of products beyond what's available in store or on Lowe's.com, right from the Lowe's Pro Desk. Build quotes faster and source the materials you need to keep your jobs moving. Just like that, at Lowe's.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. If you love sports debates, and obviously I have a fondness for them, that's why you end up in the career that I am in, there is nothing better to just rev the engines immediately than Hall of Fame debates. It's like, you know when you're at a good wedding and the first song gets everyone on the dance floor? Like the DJ just reads the room perfectly and is like, oh, they need a little Bruno Mars, right? Or they're feeling a little Temptations, right? They can go oldies, they can go new. They just know exactly what it is. If you are at a whatever the sports nerd, sports media, sports radio equivalent of a wedding would be, and you want to get everybody on the dance floor, Bring all of the eligible names for next year's Hall of Fame class and say, I need everybody to pick 5. Make your case, because you can only put 5 people in. And do you know what's crazy about it? I think you would get, if you had, 100 smart people in a room, you would get like 60 different combos of 5. And I don't know how that would work on the math, but you would get a bunch. Yet, the 2026 class felt like a lot of people went, no, that's a good one. Right? The Drew Brees, yep, automatic. Larry Fitzgerald had to be a first ballot. Luke Kuechly, you made him wait the appropriate 1 year because his career was a little short, but get him in there right after, second ballot Hall of Famer. Adam Vinatieri, best kicker of all time. Roger Craig, overdue for some validation. Now, looking at 2027, I think it's going to be more complicated. I think there's going to be people that are more upset, the whole thing. But I want to take one more chance. We will have the 2027 debate a bunch of times, and I'm looking forward to it. But one more time, I want to just pay respects. One more day, I want to pay respects to Luke Kuechly. Because I don't want to say you forget, but there is definitely, like, you're probably never going to have a weekend where you sit around and just watch Luke Kuechly highlights all day ever again. They'll pull up, right? You're on your social media feed and you'll see a video. Oh yeah, I'll watch this one for 10 minutes. But all weekend, if you turned on sports television, there were highlights of one of those 5 guys. And Luke Kuechly, for Carolina Panther fans, I think the best way to articulate what was special about Luke Kuechly, and obviously you can't mention everything, right? Because he was good at a lot of things, but it was the unbelievable consistency. It was the quality check. And what I mean by that is certain players are going to have 2 highlights a game. And those highlights will be big plays, but the rest of the game, you don't know what you're getting from them. Luke Kuechly, and I firmly believe this, maybe more so than any player ever because he retired early, so he didn't really have those aging years. I think you could put every play that he had in his entire career into a hat and pull one out just randomly, put it on screen, and he'd be doing exactly what he's supposed to do at a super high level. And that's what this weekend was for me. Luke Kuechly is Luke Kuechly. That's the way I'm saying it. And he is wildly comfortable in his own skin. He is wildly knowledgeable. He is a sports, meaning football, nerd. And that's what made him special with the Panthers. His Hall of Fame speech sounded like a middle linebacker who had to thank some teammates, who had to get some things said about his family and move on. No fuss, no muss, no nonsense. That's how he played. There was some banter, right? The Adam Vinatieri turned into a roast, right? He had a Don Rickles kind of vibe where he's going like, this guy, Pat McAfee, ha, ha, ha. This guy, Peyton Manning, he's got a big head. This guy, Bill Belichick, well, I got jokes. Here's Adam Vinatieri joking about his old coach, Bill Belichick.
I would repeat those last few statements about Coach Bill Belichick as well. Thank you for demanding excellence every single day. Your preparation, discipline, and attention to detail shaped far more than my football career. Unfortunately, Bill couldn't make it here today. There's a lot going on at UNC right now. He may be on a recruiting trip right now looking for the next Lawrence Taylor. I thought it was because training camp had already started, but in truth, it's because he's judging his girlfriend's cheerleading competition.
There you go. Jokes abound, right? You weren't going to get that from Kuechly. You weren't going to get that from Kuechly. Kuechly is it's unfair. Actually, no. This is my analogy for Kuechly, and I took in everything this weekend. The nerd stuff was my favorite. I don't even know what event it was. They were sitting in the round. They had all of the players that were being inducted on stage in the center, and they had this. I saw it on YouTube, so again, I don't know what the outlet was, but they had fans all around them. And Drew Brees and Luke Kuechly were taking turns with the whiteboard, drawing up plays. and trying to discuss what they would do. And if you run this route, here's how I would cover it. And I don't say this lightly. If any two people other than those two were doing that, I think it would have been wildly boring for everyone in that stands. But instead, they were all captivated, I should say. And they were referencing specific plays from 10 years ago in like a if you know way. So Luke Kuechly's drawing on the board, and he's talking to Drew Brees, and he goes like, in this route, nobody ever hits it unless it's to Ted Ginn, and it's in the second round of the playoffs back in 2017 or whatever. And Drew Brees just starts laughing because he remembers that exact play too. These supercomputers were going back and forth. Supercomputers. And it was really, really fun. All the way down to this. This might be the most Luke Kuechly story of the weekend. He was asked why. They all get a little presentation. They get like a like a showcase, like a in glass showcase for their induction weekend, and they get to put, the shoes they wore in their biggest game and a jersey and they whatever, right? The things that are supposed to encapsulate their entire career. And Luke Kuechly put in a black Panthers jersey. And they asked him why, right? That's not their main jersey, right? It's not the one he wore in his first game. It's not the one he wore in the Super Bowl. Like, why did you pick the black jersey? And it wasn't like, oh, I always thought they looked cool, right? It wasn't like, oh, no. His response was wildly prepared and wildly overthought, which is exactly what I want from Luke Kuechly. He said, well, we played in the South, right? And it's hot. So if we have alternate black jerseys, we're never going to wear those in September because it's insanely hot and you're going to sweat more and we need to stay fresh. I'm getting the nod from Dave Modlin. Do we have this audio? We have the audio. Here is Luke Kuechly.
One of my favorite jerseys was a black jersey because you guys know, you and Joe know that as the season went on, we would never wear black in the beginning of the year because you'd be delusional to wear a black jersey in the South early in the season for home games, right? But as the season would go on, the grass would change. I think it would go from Bermuda to, I think it was rye grass they put. So you could start to see the change in the grass. And then, Joe's laughing at me because I'm nerding out, but the grass would start to change. Dennis, our ground crew guy, was the man. And then as the grass would change, the weather would cool off, and then we'd switch from white jerseys to black jerseys. I think it was a black jersey, or maybe whatever, but it felt like playoff football because it was like November, December, and cold, and it just felt like football. So there was that, and I'm sure there's some other things in there I'm missing. So
he had put that much thought into what jersey was going to be displayed, and he had a weather reason for it. Do you know what I think most players that go into the Hall of Fame do when they're choosing which jersey to put in? I like the way that one looks. Go ahead. Or I don't even care. Pick one. Or what did we wear in that one big game we won? Yeah, throw that in there. He's going, no, I need to know what species of grass is beneath my cleats. I need to know what the weather is doing before I can even entertain this. I don't want to sell it short, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit in the starting five. Luke Kuechly also was a physical monster, fast, big, tall, strong. But it truly is the most Luke Kuechly thing in the world to care that much about every decision. And that's what this entire weekend was for him. The entire weekend was just showing everybody the thoroughness with why, or that is why, the thoroughness that is why he is a Hall of Famer. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have the starting five coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Hey everyone, Dennis Cox here real quick for my friends over at Loan Pronto. If you have a 2, 3, or 4% mortgage rate, don't refinance it. You don't have to, but you can still get cash out of your home. Introducing Loan Pronto's zero-cost equity loan. That's right. With Loan Pronto, you can get all the cash you need without touching your first mortgage and without any fees. One local homeowner just got $100,000. They paid off all their credit cards. They paid off their existing HELOC, remodeled the kitchen, and saved over $1,500 per month. It gets better. There's no hard credit pull up front, usually no appraisal, no long drawn-out process. And listen, no closing costs. You may even be able to skip your next 2 house payments. Call Loan Pronto now. Leave your low-rate mortgage intact, but get the cash you need in as little as 2 weeks without paying closing costs. LoanPronto.com. See how much you can get right now. 919-381-1760. That's 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. For qualified homeowners, equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Adam.
I'm Adam Gold, and I'm there.
Tim.
I'm Tim Donnelly, and I'm there.
Dennis.
I'm Dennis Cox, and I'm there.
Victoria.
I'm Victoria Bodenecker, and I'm there.
Paul.
I'm Paul Ihander, and I'm there too.
You'll find them all here on the brand new 99.9 The Fan app. To work, to school, the beach, the mountains, the arena, take The Fan with you wherever you go. Available for Apple iPhone and Android phones. Download the 99.9 The Fan app today.
It's bow time. Ordering Bojangles Bow Bites is the easiest choice you'll make today. The bite-sized hand-breaded chicken is fried to crispy perfection, making it perfect for sharing, snacking, or when you're on the go. Just don't call it a nugget. The only hard part is choosing from our 6 dipping sauces. We've got a sauce for every kind of craving, from our creamy house-made ranch to our sweet and spicy peach honey pepper sauce. It all depends on what kind of mood you're in. Head to your nearest Bojangles today and discover the dippable, shareable, and craveable Bow Bites. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to head on over to Bojangles to try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. Bite-sized, hand-breaded chicken fried to crispy perfection. On the go, they're perfect for snacking or sharing. Dipped in your favorite sauce like creamy house-made ranch or peach honey pepper, they're the perfect way to satisfy your craving for flavor and value. Try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. It's an easy choice to make when it's bow time.
A torn ACL, stress fracture, aching back, a hip that's had it, life on hold, and all you want is to get it back. Enter Wake Orthopedics. We do it all. In fact, we see patients within 48 hours for everything from sports injuries, spine care, and joint replacement to minimally invasive procedures, surgeries, pediatrics, and more. Visit us today at wakemed.org and get back your life.
T-Mobile is launching something no other wireless network offers. Introducing Nothing. Pay nothing today and walk out of the store with a new phone.
What did he say?
Nothing.
You definitely said something about nothing.
Exactly. Go to T-Mobile, pay nothing up front, and leave with a new phone.
Wait, nothing rules.
She gets it.
Hey, thanks for nothing.
For the first time ever, switch to T-Mobile, pay nothing. No taxes, no fees, no money down. And walk out with a new phone. There are 250 reasons to choose T-Mobile, and now nothing is holding you back.
On eligible devices with qualifying credit plan and 36-month financing.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Hey, it's the weather.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Kat Campbell. It's a warm evening. Temperatures staying in the mid-80s for a bit longer. Skies are mostly clear tonight with a low of 74. We're back up to 97 tomorrow with a chance for scattered evening storms. Any storms that do develop could become severe.
Thank you, Kat. Taking a look at your money. The Dow was down today 61 points. S&P was down ending the day at 7.753. Well, Tim, I guess we got to work another couple hours then. Our ship didn't come in.
We're always working.
Working for the people.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting 5.
That's right. It's time to get to work on the starting five. Starting five is brought to you by Baker Home Exteriors. We do good work at a profit if we can, at a loss if we must, but always good work. That's the Baker name, Baker Home Exteriors. And as always, we get the starting five underway with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
We start number 5 with some NFL news. By the way, it's game week. Preseason, not just for the Panthers, but for everybody, gets started on Thursday, which is exciting. Okay, so prepare accordingly. Get your chores done, whatever you got to do before Thursday. Now, news around the NFL. Former Panther Teddy Bridgewater, a.k.a. Lions veteran backup quarterback, has decided to step away from the team. Was officially placed on the reserved retired list ahead of Sunday's practice. Teddy Bridgewater is a unique decision maker to me. Like, if you go look at like the all-time professional sports retirements, it's like Brett Favre 1, Michael Jordan 2, then Teddy Bridgewater. He's retired a bunch of times. He's come out of retirement a bunch of times. He coached a high school team to a state championship a couple years ago. Then after that season, went and was a backup quarterback for the next few weeks after that. It was kind of back and forth, but this one seems final. If it is, he seems like one of the good guys in the NFL and going out on his own terms. Pretty solid deal. I feel like this is actually a credit to him. Teddy Bridgewater has played long enough and at times well enough that we don't just think about him as the guy that had the really, really gruesome knee injury with the Vikings back like 10 or 11 years ago. If you have one of those injuries and people think about you and don't have that pop up in their brain, that means they're pretty good. Commanders, they lost their left tackle, Laramie Tunsil. I want to have this quick conversation just to show that the Panthers aren't the only ones that struggled. The Commanders are doing a terrible job surrounding their rookie contract, really, really good quarterback in Jaden Daniels with talent. They had to bring in Stephon Diggs at the 11th hour so they would have a second wide receiver that they trust beyond Terry McLaurin. Their running backs are a hodgepodge at best, although at times I really like Krosky Merritt. Their offensive line has been a mash unit. Now, you can't predict injuries, but you can have a little bit better depth. He's going to be out there, meaning Jaden Daniels, without a ton of help. And then secondarily, transitioning, right? So Jaden Daniels, Commanders not surrounding him even though he's on a rookie contract. You look at the pick right after him, it's Drake May from the University of North Carolina. And the Patriots, they keep surrounding him with more and more. Now, even if they missed on the pick on Will Campbell, they drafted a 4th overall offensive tackle for him. They bring in A.J. Brown. That's a pretty good boost. Today, they signed one of Drake's favorite targets, Hunter Henry, the tight end, to a contract, 2-year extension. Base value of $16 million, can be worth up to $20, but it's the safety blanket thing. It's someone Drake trusts. So, I say all of that to say this. Every team knows when they draft a quarterback, especially draft a quarterback high, you have 4 years to stack the roster around them and surround them with everything you can afford. Everyone knows that, but not everybody can execute it. I don't know if the Panthers have done as good a job as they should with Bryce. I know that the Washington Commanders are not doing as good a job as they should with Jaden Daniels, and it appears as if the Patriots are doing a pretty good job with Drake May. Thus, they're one of the favorites, and the other two are not. That's number 5. Let's hit number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
Michael Brennan, stand up, take a bow. And also, I will take some accountability and also accept a bow. So Michael Brennan, former Wake Forest golfer, he won the Wyndham Championship over the weekend, which is a very important deal for him for a bunch of reasons. Well, the first is he's now a multiple-time winner on the PGA Tour, and that enters you into a different class, right? You're no longer just a alternate or a fall event winner. You're now a legitimate PGA Tour, right there on the schedule, regular tournament winner. Another reason it's big for him is it's It's $1.53 million for winning that. So not bad for 4 days' work, right? Another reason it's really big for the former Wake Forest golfer is he jumped from, I think it was I have it up here. Hold on. He jumped from well outside the top 70 that get to play in the FedEx Cup playoffs. He was 105. The win brings him up to 47th. So now he gets to play in the St. Jude's Invitational, and obviously if he finishes very high and again boosts his stock, he's got an outside chance of being in that top 30, right, which would get to go the distance in the FedEx Cup playoffs. So that's huge for him. We'll come back to that in a second. Another reason why it's big for Michael Brennan is I told you all to pick the locals. I feel like I want you guys to know, if anybody gambles out there, I take it very, very seriously. If I give out any kind of gambling advice and it doesn't go well, I feel awful because I think some of you out there may have put down your hard-earned money, and I feel very, very bad. Which is why I will be very upfront. Like, hey, I haven't studied this game a lot, so if you're going to try to bet off of any of this insight, don't. That's obviously if I hadn't done a lot of research. Sometimes we get into make our picks at the end and they're throwing games at me that I haven't researched. I will be very upfront with that. But at the same time, when I give out a good piece of advice, I do hope that there are some of you out there that are putting a little extra scratch in your pocket. So earlier this week, I believe it was Wednesday, before the Wyndham Championship began, I rattled off a bunch of stats that essentially proved the players that played college or live in North Carolina play much better at Sedgefield, meaning at Sedgefield Country Club, where the Wyndham Championship is in Greensboro, than they do elsewhere in their PGA Tour. I had examples of guys that have won like 3 tournaments in their career. 2 of them were at the Wyndham, or guys that have 8 top 10s in their career, and 3 of them have come in 4 tries at the Wyndham. Like, it was all of that kind of stuff. So I pointed out all of the local guys in the tournament, all of the Wake Forest golfers, the UNC golfers, the Duke golfers, the golfers that grew up in Raleigh, the golfers that went to Western Carolina. And I said, if you're gambling, sprinkle some on the home field advantage. Michael Brennan, former Wake Forest golfer, then won the tournament. So guess what? I can tell you this. Every year at the Wyndham, I am now picking golfers that went to school in the area. It's Cameron Young played at Wake Forest. He was the defending champ. Right? There's JT Poston had won there. He played at Western Carolina. Webb Simpson had won. He played at Wake Forest. It's only played once a year. So Michael Brennan, congratulations to you. Also, he hits the ball far as you know what. Number 2 on tour in driving distance. So the young guys should be able to stick around for a while. That's number 4. Let's get to number 3. This is a local heavy starting 5 because there's another champion bringing some hardware back to the state of North Carolina, and they didn't have to go far. It was at Greenville, South Carolina is where they played. The Clayton softball Little League has won the Little League Softball World Series. Joko Clayton won the whole darn thing. Listen, there are some that maybe think youth sports are being taken too seriously. I'm probably one of them, right? My son is just getting to that age. Greg Olson, for those of you that don't know, Greg Olson, the former Panthers tight end, hosts a podcast all about youth sports, and it's all about parents and coaches and how you can navigate travel ball and the expenses and what do you do if a coach is taking it too seriously, how to do this, how to do that. And it's a really good podcast. But it's also the fact that podcast needs to exist is ridiculous to me. That there needs to be people out there saying like, hey, make sure kids are having fun when they're playing 11 and 12-year-old sports. Make sure everyone has a great experience when you're playing 9-year-old soccer. But I still, and I will always believe this, youth sports are important. They teach you lessons that you can't learn in a classroom. They teach you teamwork. They teach you how to deal with adversity. They teach you how to how to overcome obstacles. And do you know what else it does? It just creates memories. So I'm watching Clayton softball win the Little League Softball World Series and beat the team from Owensboro, Kentucky 2-0 in the championship. And I think it's one of those moments where everything I said kind of goes away. That moment wasn't about lessons. It wasn't about, teaching these kids something bigger. It was just fun. They just had pure joy, and they're going to remember it for the rest of their lives in a positive way. That's sometimes enough. Friendships being made. Matter of fact, I'll give you this example, and I'm sure I've referenced this before. If not, I'll tell you now. I grew up part of my childhood in Hawaii, and when I was 1 year older than this group. So the group that was 1 year below me from Eva Beach won the Little League World Series. They won the whole thing from Hawaii. And eventually, those guys, a few of them, ended up transferring into my school after they came back. And, I got to know them, played football, played basketball with them. They were around, like just one of the group. But because of that, I followed two of them on social media from back in the day, like my friends from middle school, high school. To this day, every, I'd say 2 or 3 years, the entire Little League World Series Eva Beach champions get together. They still have like the hats. They do the old man putting on the Letterman's jacket thing, but their friendships are going to last forever because some of their cooler memories from their childhood were together, and Clayton's going to have that same deal. Okay, so as I often say, I think youth sports are important. As I often get very serious when I'm talking about youth sports because I care about them and I want them to exist in a way that makes sense and is not being ruined by the adults in the room, making it too expensive. But also, sometimes I just want to have a really, airy, light conversation about it and just say, how cool is it for those young ladies? World Series champion. Bringing it back to North Carolina. Let's go. That's number 3. Let's get to number 2.
Just the two of us.
All right, here it is, everybody. The Luke Kuechly Hall of Fame weekend's coming to a close. We've talked about it a few times today. If you haven't listened in, you can go check it on our YouTube live stream. Just scroll on back. But I've talked about the between the ears stuff for Luke Kuechly, the consistency, the work, the study, the prep, the diagnosing plays, the chess matches he used to have with quarterbacks. And that is a special part of Luke Kuechly, okay? I also want to acknowledge the other thing exists as well, which is he is a physical monster. Tall, fast, strong, hits hard. And I think sometimes with a player like Kuechly who is so well prepared, it gets overlooked. Right? It's almost like we treat him as, meaning the media, we treat him as like the little engine that outsmarted everybody. He is not the little engine that could. He is the gigantic locomotive annihilating everything on the train tracks, who also happens to be one of the smarter players in NFL history. And I think it's important to mention both, right? You can't be Luke Kuechly and what he was on a football field and not be one of the best athletes on the field. And he worked exceptionally hard in the weight room, and he became strong. Like, the best highlights for Luke Kuechly are both, right? He's mic'd up, or you see him and he's screaming pre-snap, and he's moving his teammates, he's making checks. But when he gets there, he delivers the thunder. He would hit hard. And I'm not sure if that was talked about enough, because he does also have this supercomputer of a brain, right? It would be as if, like, we talk about Drew Brees a particular way, and I'm not knocking Drew Brees, but we talk about Drew Brees a particular way because he doesn't look like the prototypical NFL Hall of Fame quarterback, right? If you put Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, who are the other Hall of Famers from that era? Eventually, Phillip Rivers. If you put in, like, you're going to go, who's the little one, right? Because there's 6'4", 6'5", 6'5", 230, 230, 230. And then there's Drew Brees at like 5'11", right? And I think he's listed at 6 foot. But he's not the fastest out there. He's not the biggest. He's not the strongest, especially after the injury that he suffered at the end of his San Diego Chargers run. He didn't have the strongest arm in the league, but he got by with anticipation and brains. I think we talked about all weekend. When I say we, I mean the sports media that covered it. I think everybody talked about Luke Kuechly like he was Drew Brees, where it's like he may not be as big or as strong, but he got by with his wits. And I'm going, no. He both is big and strong and fast. He fits in a picture if you put him next to Ray Lewis and Patrick Willis and whoever else are the big angry ones that are seen as these physical monsters of his era. And he is also really, really smart, as are they. I'm not, acting like the others aren't, but we're talking Kuechly here. He is worthy of being seen as an unbelievable athlete in addition to an unbelievable thinker. That's the point I want to make. And we should remember that because he left while he was still on top. I think it's actually a problem with Larry Fitzgerald's legacy because he played forever. And by the end, he was kind of getting by with wit and guile. Like he was all a veteran. I'd get you lean in one way and go the other. But if you go look at Larry in his prime, he'd outrun you, right? He could just be faster than you. He could just get open. He could just cruise. That's number 2. Let's get to number 1.
Go one!
Haynes King's hurt. Hamstring. That's a bummer, isn't it? Thursday night, he's the apple of everybody's eye. He wins the Hall of Fame game-winning touchdown. He's jumping, he's celebrating, everybody's stoked. Not even the next weekend passes before not only is he being held out with a hamstring injury, we'll see for how long, but they had signed a third-string quarterback to take his place because he can't practice in the NFL with just 2 quarterbacks. So Kyle Trask, a guy who has a history with Dave Canales and Brad Idzik from their time in Tampa, he's already on the roster. When I saw the injury news, I'm going to put it on Front Street, everybody. I was nervous for Haynes King because I went, oh no. Could this end up being the story he tells at the bar for the rest of his life? I was great. Oh, I was out there. I threw for touchdowns. I ran for the game winner. I brought the team back. Then I hurt my hamstring, and I never got a chance again. Yeah, I'll take another. I thought that was going to be it, but the consensus seems to be that Hall of Fame game was enough for the Panthers to almost pencil him into their 53-man roster, to potentially pencil him into a role like Taysom Hill, or be so afraid that somebody else is going to pick him up if you waive him that they don't even consider putting him on waivers. Thus, he has to be on the 53-man roster. I think I would still be nervous, but there's a lot of people that think Haynes King's just going to be the third-string quarterback on this team, and they'll move forward with that, which is fantastic for Haynes King. Hamstring injuries are just a nuisance because I've dealt with hamstrings. Tore my hamstring between my junior and senior year of high school, and it was tweaked 100 times since then, right? But the issue is you feel like you're better from a hamstring injury probably 2 weeks before you're actually better from a hamstring injury. And when you're trying to make the team, when you're trying to prove yourself, you very rarely give yourself that extra 2 weeks to get all the way back. I'll tell now I can tell the story. So if any of my coaches from college are listening, earmuffs. Going into my junior year, I pulled my hamstring pretty good. This is college, University of Delaware. Our quarterback graduated. He was in the NFL, our starter. So there was me and one other that were competing for the job. And right before camp during workouts, I tweaked my hammy pretty good. And I knew training camp they were going to decide who's the starter. And if I'm hurt, you can't make the club in the tub, can't win the job if you're not playing. So I just didn't tell anybody. And I figured I'm a quarterback, I'm a pocket passer for the most part, and I can kind of jog funny and just try to make it through. And I was mostly better by camp, but not fully. And probably like the second or third practice, We were scrimmaging 11 on 11. I'm in the shotgun. Hamstring feels good, right? So I've been jogging, been running. I can do all my play action fakes and everything. But I was in that window where it's better, but it's not better. Like, you need the extra 2 weeks to get all the way back. And I'd been kind of hiding it well and playing all right. So I'm in there in a scrimmage, and the snap goes over my head. And the one rule we had was, if there's a ball on the ground, you better do everything, sprint, get on the ball, cover it up. And it was like that, it doesn't matter where you were, what drill. So I took off, and my hamstring went, yeah, and just grabbed on me. So I did a weird, like, half dive on the ball, half, like, when you get cramp and you straighten your leg out real quick. And it looked really weird. And we're watching film of that practice that day. And coach goes, replays it like 4 times, just me doing this weird dive roll. And he's not saying anything. And then he goes, "What's this, Tim?" And I go, "Oh, yeah, funny story." He goes, "It looks like your hamstring pops." And I was like, no. I'll tell you what happened. And at this point, I don't know what I'm going to say. But my I'd say fib was, I started diving for the ball. Then I heard a whistle. So I tried to stop. But then I remembered our rule is, no matter what, you better recover fumbles. So I was like, I guess I should play through the whistle. And I got kind of tripped up. And that's what happened. And he looked at me and he knew I was lying. And I looked at him and I knew I was lying. And he said, okay. And I made it through and ended up starting that year. But hamstrings, when you're in a competition, for me, it was who's going to start. For Haynes King, it's who's going to make the team. It's really tempting to ignore it and just go. And he's going to have to take the time he needs to get better, because unlike me, he's not like a pocket passer that's not going to run. He's somebody that runs a 4.46 40 and is going to be asked to do those sort of things if he's playing football. So he better figure it out. Elsewhere, for the Carolina Panthers, kind of injury practice reports here. Derek Brown practicing or working out with trainers off to the side today at practice. He's one of their best defensive players, but he has some knee soreness, they're calling it. I don't need to see anything from Derek Brown. I can't emphasize this enough. If they want to shut him down until week 1, I'm fine with that. He is proven, and he is that important. If they want to put him in bubble wrap, I would be supportive. He is that important to their defense. So if he's off to the side with trainers, I don't need to see him on Thursday in the preseason. I don't need to see him in any of their preseason games. There's only, I would say, 4 maybe, and that's an estimate, 4 Panthers that I don't want to see this preseason getting snaps and getting ready, but he is definitely one of them. We talked with Anish Shroff earlier today. You can find that interview on our YouTube live stream. You can find it up on YouTube. Voice of the Panthers. There's a growing sentiment that Bryce Young is balling at training camp this year. And I liked Anish Shroff putting a kind of a speed governor on the talk, saying like, yeah, he's looked great, because every beat reporter that's there is saying Bryce is at another level. Bryce is doing great. And Anish Shroff, the voice of the Panthers, put a little speed governor on it saying, yes, I agree. They're not wrong. He does look great. But it doesn't matter until we see it in game situations, right? And it's quite frankly, it's true, right, with Bryce. We were talking, again, I'm going to now combine our 2 interviews from earlier today. We were talking with Coach Harrell from ECU earlier today. They have a quarterback competition going on, and he pointed out that really the only position you can't evaluate in practice is quarterback, right? Because everybody else, you'll go live, quarterbacks don't get touched. So you really don't know who's the best football player quarterback until you start putting them in games. I would say that same logic applies to Bryce. Bryce can look great in practice. He's wearing a different color jersey. No one can touch him. It's not football. He's playing almost football. Everyone else is playing football. So we'll wait and see. But as far as news out of Pantherland, those are the biggest things. And starters will play on Thursday is the other piece of big news. 10 to 20 snaps for Bryce Young and the starters on Thursday in Buffalo. That's the starting 5, brought to you by Baker Home Exteriors. For roofing, siding, windows, and doors, trust the team that's been doing good work for over 100 years. Baker Home Exteriors, roofing the Carolinas since 1915. It's a long time. BakerHomeExteriors.com. We will need to grab numbers game contestants, and we have a really cool prize that I'm going to tell you about in a second. But first, Tim Donnelly here for Bailey's Fine Jewelry. Today's the 10th of August. That means we are exactly 1 month away from Bailey's Seiko event on September 10th. 1 month from today, Seiko is bringing in an expanded inventory exclusively for the event being held at Bailey's Fine Jewelry at their Village District location in Raleigh. And as if going in to see the usual incredible selection of luxury timepieces at Bailey's Fine Jewelry, plus the additional inventory, which has something for every budget from Seiko. If that isn't enough for you, it should be. But if that's not enough to get you out to Bailey's Fine Jewelry on September 10th, guests can also enjoy complimentary sushi and sake while browsing the collection. I mean, I know, what's the saying? Like, when stop selling when you get the yes. I know the watches have already got you planning on going there, and I don't have to keep selling, but they keep passing things along, so I'm going to keep passing them to you. Complimentary sushi and sake at Bailey's Fine Jewelry, September 10th. In addition, as I said, to the great watches, the event is free and open to everyone. No invitation required. But if you feel like you do need one, just say you got your invitation from Tim on 99.9 The Fan. They'll know who sent you. It's at Bailey's Fine Jewelry, Village District location in Raleigh, also known as the location that has the Fox and Bailey watch shop inside. And it is September 10th, the Seiko event for Bailey's Fine Jewelry. We're going to take a break, but first we need numbers game contestants. Call right now, 919-860-5326 to compete in the numbers game and potentially win a pair of tickets to the Rip X Card Show at the Durham Bulls Athletic Park from September 26th through September 27th. The card shows are blowing up in popularity. Trading cards, as popular as they've ever been. It is a hobby that kids love, adults love. Everybody's going to be at Durham Bulls Athletic Park. If you want to win the pair of tickets to the Rip X Card Show, you have to call in and win the numbers game. 919-860-5326. Call in now. Numbers game next.
It's been a long day without you, my friend.
Touchdown! Washington wins on a Hail Mary!
Herbert in the pocket. He flings it right side from McConkey. He's got it this time for the touchdown. Going to scramble it at the 5-2-1. Touchdown, Carolina. Bryce Young.
The NFL returns August 14th on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
A lot has changed since 1915. The way the Baker family treats people hasn't. They've roofed the Carolinas for over 100 years. The motto puts it plainly: we shall do good work, at a profit if we can, at a loss if we must, but always good work. Trust the team that's kept that promise for generations. Baker Home Exteriors. Always good work. Visit BakerHomeExteriors.com.
Progressive presents the Museum of You.
We begin our tour with a unique piece, a relic from the early big screen television era. Remarkable. Next, we find a juicer, which historians believe has only ever been used once. And finally, compact discs from the emo era. A rare find indeed.
Some things should be history, but until then, you could protect what's important to you and save by bundling your auto insurance with the renter's policy from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Yeah. Can you pass me a Baja?
A what?
Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Try it. It's tropical at first, then the lime flavor hits.
Oh, okay. That's crisp. Tastes like vacation.
Right?
Mm-hmm. And it's mine now.
Have a Baja Blast.
Right now at Circle K, buy a 20-ounce Mountain Dew and get another for just $1. Do the Dew at Circle K today.
Hey, this is Luke with Newcomb & Company. We're a residential, commercial, plumbing, HVAC company who's been serving the community for over 70 years. Honesty is the biggest policy around here. You know, we take pride in everything we do, anything we touch. We're not one of those companies that come and throw it in and then you can't get a hold of them again. We're there with you hand in hand. Here at Newcomb & Company, what stands apart from other companies is we actually do more than just AC and heat pumps. We do boilers, geothermals, furnaces, radiant floor, anything that is odds and ends that nobody else can touch is what we thrive on. At Newcomb & Company, we do same-day service. That's also another thing that helps us stand apart from other places is we do same-day service because we have enough professionals to get out to these houses to solve what the problems are. And we're on 24/7 on emergency basis, weekends, nights, holidays, you name it, we're there.
Newcomb & Company, your Carrier factory authorized dealer. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. Prize for today, a pair of tickets to the Rip X Card Show at the Durham Bulls Athletic Park from September 26th through September 27th. Our contestants for today are Antoine and Carrie and Ben in Durham. But first, before they can play, we got to decide who goes first. And to do that, I will bring them each onto the show individually. We'll ask them the same question. Dave Maudlin, our producer for the moment, will be the judge. He'll pick his favorite answer, and that person will get to go first. We'll start with Antoine and Carrie. Antoine, can you hear me?
I can.
All right. We're giving a pair of tickets to a card show, so I think we have to ask this question. If you could have any athlete's like rookie card, the coolest card out there, the patch auto, the autographs at 10 out of 10, whatever the sayings are, what player is your Grail trading card to find?
I feel like it'd probably have to be like a Kobe Bryant rookie card.
All right, Kobe Bryant rookie card. Any follow-up questions for Dave?
Strong answer.
All right, rookie Kobe Bryant, you're locked in. Let's go to Ben in Durham. Ben, can you hear me?
Hey, yes, I can hear you.
All right, perfect. Same question to you. We're giving away tickets to a card show, so we got to ask the card question. You can have any player in any sports, like rookie card, autographed, the Grail card. What player are you looking for?
So I'm a big baseball fan, big baseball historian. I'd be looking for like a Mickey Mantle rookie card. If I could get it autographed, that'd be even better.
All right. I do have to say that both of our contestants are probably looking at a pretty penny if they want these cards, especially if they're like the true Grails. So, Ben, we appreciate you. We now go to Dave. Dave, which one are you choosing? Kobe Bryant rookie card or Mickey Mantle rookie and the signs and patches and everything else on the cards?
Let's go with Ben with Mickey Mantle.
All right. Did you have someone popping into your head that you were hoping they said? Is there somebody that you were rooting for?
No, just Mickey Mantle's probably one of my second favorite players of all time.
There you go. Good pick by Ben. Antoine, you will have your chance. Just go ahead and stay on hold. It should not take us too long. Ben and Durham, you get to go first. Are you ready to pick your category?
Yes.
All right, the categories are NFL mid-August birthdays, Major League Baseball players who led the league in triples, NBA players that were teammates of Garrett Temple at some point or another, or NHL Hurricanes throughout history.
Let's go Major League Baseball who led the league in triples.
Okay. Major League Baseball players that led their league in triples at some point or another in their career. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. There'll be 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. Do you have any questions before we get started?
No, I'm good to go.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Corbin Carroll, Arizona Diamondbacks.
24.
Incorrect. Chandler Simpson, Tampa Bay Rays.
7.
Incorrect. Corbin Carroll, Arizona Diamondbacks.
Pass.
Brandon Nimmo, New York Mets.
14.
Incorrect. Chandler Simpson, Tampa Bay Rays.
22.
Incorrect. Corbin Carroll, Arizona Diamondbacks.
5.
Incorrect. Brandon Nimmo, New York Mets. Do you know what's crazy? Is obviously 3 players. There are 3 jersey numbers we were looking for. You said 2 of them, just not for the right people. Corbin Carroll, we were looking for 7. You picked 7 for Brandon Nimmo. Chandler Simpson, we were looking for 14. I believe you guessed that for Corbin Carroll. And Brandon Nimmo, we were looking for 9. Unfortunately, you never lined them up quite right, so that is a 0, but the tiebreaker for the numbers game is whoever goes first. So you're still alive. Stay on the line. We'll see if it holds up. That brings us to Antoine and Carrie. Antoine, can you hear me?
I can.
All right. The remaining categories for you to choose from are NFL mid-August birthdays, NBA players that played at some point or another, teammates of Garrett Temple, or NHL Hurricanes only.
NBA Garrett Temple.
All right. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. 1 pass if you need it. And you need at least 1 for the win, but there are special benefits that come with being a perfect score contender, so keep going even if you get the 1. Do you have any questions before we get started?
I do not.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. John Wall, Washington Wizards.
2.
Correct. Zion Williamson, New Orleans Pelicans.
0.
Incorrect. Grady Dick, Toronto Raptors.
1.
Correct. Kyrie Irving, Brooklyn Nets.
11.
Correct. Tony Parker, San Antonio Spurs.
9.
Correct. Zion Williamson, New Orleans Pelicans.
1.
Correct. Perfect score. There you go. I said even if you get the 1, keep going for the perfect score, and you did just that. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
There was no Kobe Bryant on there, but 8 or 24, we would have gotten that one. But those are pretty good. Go ahead and stay on the line. You'll not only get the tickets, as promised, to the Rip X card show. Maybe you'll see a Kobe Bryant. But also there's other reasons we need your contact info if you're a perfect score. So stay on the line. Dave will grab that information. How about that? Slow start with the offer, but then doubled back with the 5 for 5. Also, I thought this, this is just how my brain's always cranking when we're doing this. I thought it was interesting that they both went for the sport that they have their Grail card in. Right? Neither of them strayed far. One of them wanted Kobe Bryant, and guess what? They picked basketball. One of them wanted Mickey Mantle. Guess what? They picked baseball. To varying degrees of success, but that's exactly what happened. By the way, my son got into collecting cards for a little bit there. So for a while, I had all of the YouTube card collectors on my social media feeds. And it's an entire industry. People are spending thousands and thousands of dollars and wheeling and dealing like crazy. But I do like, one of the things I caught myself liking was when people were collecting and you could tell like their own personality or when they grew up, who were their favorites. There's a billion people, and obviously he was everybody's favorite because of how popular he was, but there are a billion people chasing like Michael Jordan rookie, Michael Jordan autographs, or right now everybody's chasing Shohei Ohtani cards. And I get it. Like, they're good. They're probably the best value. But I like it when you just had like a team that you loved or a player that you loved, and you're out looking for that specific person. Right, because so often on these videos, if you haven't been in trading card world on social media, just know that it's bigger than you think. But there's these like celebrities, guys that like own card shops, and they become these YouTube personalities, and people like get choked up going up to say hi. But so often these celebrity card people, I don't know what to call them, influencers, card influencers, would say like, what are you looking for? And even kids who are like 12 years old are like, oh, I'm looking for, a Wembanyama color match explosion. And it's like, that's just the most expensive card out right now. I like it when you're saying like, I absolutely love, and you pick a player, like for me, like David Wright, because I'm a Mets fan, and he was my guy, or Mike Piazza. Right? They're stars. Don't get me wrong. Mike Piazza's a Hall of Famer, but it's different than saying, like Barry Bonds, Ken Griffey Jr. You know what I mean? So if you're going to collect, my advice is craft it exactly to your likes and dislikes. Don't try to get what you think everybody's after, unless you're going to spend the, tens of thousands of dollars to go get the real bananas cards. Then treat it like an investment. But if you're collecting, show your own personality a little bit would be my advice, because it just seems more fun. Either way, thank you to both contestants. Congratulations to Antoine on the 5 for 5, and I believe we will have those card show tickets more this week. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Speaking of things that you like a lot, one of my favorite articles of the year, maybe my favorite article of the year, is Bruce Feldman's of The Athletic. He puts out a list of the most athletic freaks in college football. It's called the Athletic Freaks List, and it's a little subjective, right? Some are 340 pounds and explosive. Some are small but fast, and the Athletic Freaks List is 1 to 101. I can tell you A local team has 2 players on the list, and another has 1 player on the list, and it is not an easy list to make. So we're going to break down the most athletic freaks in the triangle after this. Stick around.
The Adam Gold Show.
I've been critical of Dave Canales ever since he became the head coach because I thought he never bought into Bryce Young. But the way he has talked about his quarterback so far in the preseason, the way he has praised his ability to slow the game down, makes me think Canales is on board and he thinks he's got something. And if Bryce Young can be great in the first half of games, I think the Panthers might have a really good year.
The Adam Gold Show, weekday starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
Adam Gold in studio with my friend Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. A lot of people have work to do on their homes. They need a roof. They want windows, siding. You guys do everything. But people are also, I'm not sure I can afford it. The Aluminum Company is a great place to go. Tell us why.
Well, tons of times I'll go out to people's houses and they're thinking about doing a bunch of home improvements at once. Siding, roofing, windows are a big package, right? And the first thing they think of is, well, I'm going to need to go get an equity line or a second mortgage. One of the things we have is tons of financing options where you don't even need to go to your bank. We can do that in-house for you and run payment options for you. And lots of times the financing that we offer is a better percentage rating than you can get from your bank, and you don't have to go through all that mess to get to it.
I like that. Also, is there 12 months, 0 interest?
12 months, 0 interest, 0 payments for 12 months.
0 payments and 0 interest at the same time for 12 months.
That is correct.
That is a double header right there. Aluminum Company of North Carolina, online, aluminumcompany.com.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here for my friends at Buffalo Brothers. My favorite place to go in the Triangle for the best wings on the planet. How about this special? Every Monday, half-priced wings all day. Dine-in only. Now that's a deal, baby. Everything on the menu is amazing. Pizza, apps, and always great drink specials. Visit any of their 5 Triangle locations and their pet-friendly patio, too. Online, buffbrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. A little bit of a programming note for you. I believe this is the first one we've had this year. We have Panther Talk back. It's football season. Panther Talk is back. It's coming up just at the top of the hour, just after 6 o'clock. Anish Shroff, who we had on the show earlier, voice of the Panthers, he teased it. He said there's some things we're really going to enjoy about Panther Talk as they start their season off. There's some good Luke Kuechly insight. There's some good Dave Canales insight and more. So Panther Talk just after the top of the hour right here on 99.9 The Fan. And then you can set your watch by it, right? Then it becomes an every Monday thing. We'll be having Panther Talk right about that same time every week, hearing, unless there's like a weird schedule for the Panthers their Monday night or whatever, that changes up. But other than that, every week, Panther Talk, Mondays right here, right after this show on 99.9 The Fan. And I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully you are as well. In the meantime, it's not even a guilty pleasure. What's the opposite of a guilty pleasure? Like I'm just a proud to enjoy this. The Athletics most athletic freaks list came out today. And I can't imagine how much research this takes Bruce Feldman, who writes it. But he goes through what I imagine are like 1,000 football rosters and finds the 101 most athletic people, according to his research and his evaluation, in college football. There are the most obvious in the world, right? The big, tall, strong, fast guys from Ohio State, all the way down to like Division II players who are likely going to get a tryout in an NFL camp one day strictly off of their pro days. Like the athletic freaks list comes out once a year. It's awesome. NC State has 2 of the 41 most athletic players on the list. Jaden Duke Scott, their running back, who is kind of taken over for Hollywood Smothers this year. We talked to him at ACC kickoff, is number 18 on the Athletics Freaks list. The Athletic says he is the 18th most athletic player in college football this year, and they have the stats to back it up. He is 5'10", 223 pounds. Okay, so that's what we're working with. This is not the biggest dude in the world. 5'10", 223. That's a big back, but that is not a offensive lineman. 10 more pounds from last year. So he has put on 10 pounds. I spoke with him at ACC kickoff. I can tell you he doesn't look like he's put on 10 pounds because it's the right 10 pounds. You know what I mean? He doesn't put on the inner tube around the waist like us in our 30s. Here's the more impressive part, though. According to The Athletic, 10 pounds heavier, still running a 4.35 40 with a 1.42 10-yard split, which means explosiveness and long speed there. His vertical is up to near 40, 38.5 inches. But here's a crazier part. He cleaned 405 pounds. Power cleaned 405 pounds. He's 223 pounds. He power cleaned 405. Anyone that's power clean knows how ridiculous that is. He back squatted 575. He did 20 reps of 225 on the bench. All of that is impressive. But I want you to all, if you only remember one thing from Jaden Duke Scott, because I'm going to reference it back here. I want you to remember that he power cleaned 405 pounds. Okay? Boom. Number 41 on the Athletics Freaks list is Colby Cronk, NC State defensive lineman. Redshirt freshman, whose nickname is Crash. He's got a history of multi-sport success. He was a high school Florida State champion in the shot put and runner-up in the discus. He reported at 260 pounds last year. He's now up to 285, so he's 6'3", 285 pounds. Still runs a 4.8 40, flying for somebody that heavy. Broad jump 9.6, ridiculous for somebody that heavy. Vertical jump over 35 inches, ridiculous for somebody that heavy. 35.5, essentially. Bench pressed 420. It's ridiculous. In case you can't tell, this is all ridiculous. But here's the part that I want to remember. He broke a program record by power cleaning 410 pounds. That's insane and very impressive by Colby Cronk. But do you remember what I asked you to remember about Jaden Duke Scott? He power cleaned 405 pounds. So, to break it down into much more simple terms, The Athletic calls Colby Cronk the 41st most athletic person in the country. He is 285 pounds, and he power cleans 410. Jaden Duke Scott is 223 pounds and power cleans 405. Just 5 pounds less. The record was broken by somebody that is essentially 60 pounds heavier than he is, and it was only broken by 5 pounds more than him. Jaden Duke Scott should have been higher on this list, and the guys above him are crazy. I want to spend a quick minute talking with another guy we talked to and about at ACC kickoff, Jeremiah Hazley, Duke tight end. He broke like every record in the weight room for tight ends at Duke this offseason. Power clean, bench, squat, all of them. Since he arrived on Duke's campus in the summer of 2022, he's added 18 pounds. So now he's 6'3.5", 251. He's added 8 inches, a little less, 7.5 inches to his vertical. Now 37 inches vertical jump. And he's improved all of his shuttles. His 10-yard split time is crazy. 1.59, but the crazy part is it was 1.7 not that long ago, 1.7. Bench press, 425. These guys are not normal. Now, the reason why this is my favorite list is just the athletes getting bigger, faster, and stronger every generation blows my mind. The number one athlete in the country is Nick Harbor, a wide receiver that plays for South Carolina. This is not an exaggeration. He is one of the most athletic people to ever live. He runs on the track team for South Carolina and beats guys that weigh like 70 pounds less than him. It is insane. Part of it is just an awe, right? Because as so many of us did. Like, you work as hard as you possibly can to be the best athlete that you can, and you never sniff these numbers. At least I never sniffed these numbers. So these guys are absolutely crazy. I do want to point out that, being ridiculously athletic does not necessarily always make you a great football player. Sometimes the biggest, tallest, strongest, fastest don't have the hand-eye coordination. Sometimes the biggest, tallest, fastest, strongest, don't have a feel for the game. So it's not a guarantee that if you are on this list, you're going to be a great football player. But if you're on this list and you have the hand-eye coordination, the body awareness, and you have the feel for the game, that's where the super-duper stars come from. That's where the Calvin Johnsons come from, the Adrian Petersons come from, the Trent Williams come from, right? The athletes that have the other stuff as well is crazy. And NC State has a couple of them. Matter of fact, because I do love this article so much and it comes out every year, NC State always has a few on this list. They always have a couple. Davin Van's been on this list. There's always one or two in there to make them their ceiling a bit higher. None for Carolina, which is fascinating to me. Sometimes, actually, no, I don't want to put this all on Carolina because this happens with a lot of teams. Sometimes I do think we make recruiting more difficult than it has to be. And I do this in play calling, or when I'm complaining about play calling a lot, watching a game. If you have a Jaden Duke Scott, if you have those guys I mentioned, the Julio Jones, the Calvin Johnsons, the biggest dudes, the fastest dudes, the strongest dudes, get them the ball, right? If you go to a camp and you're looking at high schoolers, and you if you're Bill Belichick and you're recruiting, I'm not saying that there aren't really, really good football players that, run a 4.5 or a 4.6 or a 4.8 or a 4 whatever. If a guy runs a 4.4, make him a priority. It's not just about X's and O's. It's not just about feel for the game. Sometimes you need a big, tall, strong, fast guy to just overwhelm the opponent. All right, I'm going to read you a little bit about Nick Harbor just because it is that crazy, and it's my favorite article of the year. And it truly is bananas. The best athlete in the country, Nick Harbor, South Carolina wide receiver, 6'6", 243 pounds, 82.5-inch wingspan. He ran a 10.1 in the 100 meters. He is 243 pounds, and he runs track at South Carolina, and he's one of the best. He runs a 20.2 in the 200. These are track times. These aren't like, hey, my coach had the stopwatch on the practice field, and he clicks it a little early for me to make sure I get that good 40 time. This is track laser timed, where he is not a joke. Like, it wouldn't be unusual to have a 175-pound sprinter in college. He's 243 pounds, running against guys that are 60, 70 pounds lighter than he is. Now, he might not be the best football player. He doesn't impact every football game. But goodness gracious, do I want to see him in, like, the decathlon? He topped out at 23.8 miles per hour on the GPS at just 5% body fat, 243 pounds. Made in a lab. Like this is not a joke. He would make Julio Jones look not that athletic. And there's probably one person, maybe two on the planet that can do that. Athletes are getting better. That's why I do say this. Every old-timer that says, like, oh, sports were tougher in my day, they were better in my day, I can't emphasize this enough. They were not. If Nick Harbor went back to 1980, they would probably accuse him of being a witch. Like, it would be, they'd think like he's an X-Man or something. Like that's how crazy athletic, and he wasn't even number one last year. Jeremiah Smith was. Jeremiah Smith's number 2 this year. Anyone on this most athletic list, if they went back to like 1984 to play football, at worst, they're like Herschel Walker. Like at worst, they're running for 2,000 yards in a season because they're that ridiculous. Athletes get better with time, and for some reason, old athletes are the only people in the world that can't understand that. And if you don't believe me, go to The Athletic, look up the Bruce Feldman article on the most athletic freaks in college football, and just be in awe. Or matter of fact, even better, if you played sports and you've run a 40 or you've tried to bench or you've at any point in time you tried to get to like an elite athletic level, you'll understand because you'll see the numbers and go like, oh my goodness. But if not, the first thing I want you to do is go like test your vert, see how much you can bench, run a 40, then go read the athletic article because you'll have an idea of how ridiculous the numbers are. And I'm going to go back to finishing it. I read like 80 of them today. I still got 21 left over for later. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Don't forget, top of the next hour, there's no overdrive today because Panther Talk is taking over the airwaves. You'll hear from Luke Kuechly, Dave Canales, and friend of the show and voice of the Panthers, Anish Shroff, who joined us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline earlier. That's coming up in just a couple of minutes here. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, 99.9 The Fan. Jump in the comments. I know for a fact on Thursday we're going to do a feedback frenzy and hear from many of you. So jump in the comment section. You just might hear it here on the show. Other than that, thank you to Dave for pinch hitting for us in producing the show, keeping us up and running. And we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody.
Excuse me, you think you could spare a square?
Sorry, what?
A square on your smartphone.
Oh, yeah, for the 99.9 The Fan app.
Exactly. Listen to your favorite hosts, teams, and live sports action.
The Carolina Hurricanes are the best team in the NHL. They won the 2026 Stanley Cup.
And every podcast episode at your fingertips, anytime, anywhere.
Available for Apple iPhone and Android phones. Download the 99.9 The Fan app today.
Is your heating and air system ready for the warmer weather? Call Newcomb & Company to ensure your system is running at peak performance. As a Comfort Contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs. Newcomb & Company, your Carrier factory authorized dealer, has proudly served our community for more than 70 years, delivering reliable comfort and peace of mind. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.